That's good coffee. What? Oh, yeah. Unlike Boss Hog Liberty here, low key, and on a Walnut Friday night, we don't use Yetis. We use Arctics. I could try to tell them, like, you know,
Sure we don't.
what is it? You know, get that Yeti out of here, okay? That's not a brand sponsored like mug here, okay? All right, we don't use sponsoring and shit. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to an exciting episode of Low Key on the Wheel of Change Network here on a Friday night for a Walnut special. I am your host tonight. My name is Harry, aka the Moving Target. And actually, we didn't really discuss a topic for tonight of anything to cover. I think it just said, like, let's just go live because this is one of our long form live episodes. We're going to try to do about 4 hours today. I'm going to try to how can I get screw over the network and try to get a good 2.5 hours because I got something to do in the morning. So see if anyone notices if I just like try to end early. But I doubt they'll notice.
I will notice.
I doubt they'll notice. But
I will notice.
I won't notice. I'll probably be asleep by then.
Yeah. See.
Yeah. What happened is like you'll stop it. I need to leave, and me and Paul will run like the next hour and a half talking about anime bullshit.
Okay.
Because Reinhold
or just play stream Paladins. Why don't you just do that?
Because we don't have
and talk about anime while you're doing it.
See, I could stream. I got my gaming PC here. I could game
at this location.
I could too,
no
but the problem for this. The only problem I have with streaming Paladins right now is because I'm got Guild Wars 2 up, so can't help you.
You can't run both at the same time. I thought you said your machine was powerful.
I could, but I don't think that Paladins would run well that way. It already doesn't run well just because it's Paladins.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Have you tried getting good?
All right. So, anyways, let's try to get some introductions done with out. There's other unprofessional shows that happen on Friday nights that take 30 minutes to get through their introductions. We will not be one of those awful shows. Okay. All right. We will get through our introductions in the first 10 minutes because we are professionals. So, as I said, I am your host here, Harry Price, and I am joined here with Reinhold here, in studio. We got Reinhold. Reinhold, introduce yourself.
Sure. I just want to introduce myself by going into a long 3-hour diatribe. So when we have I'm here today after about 2 days of not sleeping for various reasons. So bring in my A game. Get a little bit of a Adderall going, a little bit of a legal meth, so we should be all right. I should be able to get through, power through.
I
got my ball shirt
or condone the use of performance enhancing drugs to podcast.
It's prescribed medication. I have a doctor's prescription.
All right, Lance Armstrong.
It's for my ADHD, which anybody will tell you if you're running a podcast and you're a libertarian, you probably have ADHD.
I heard that is a fake and it's not real. That's what I heard. I got some.
It's not real.
I think it's really the what it is just interference from the birds' radio signals.
Okay, so we're going to eat up like 8 of the first 10 minutes on that.
And that voice you're hearing is producer Paul. Producer Paul is here live in studio.
Hi, everybody. I am so sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Right now, like eventually we'll find the moonstone and get Paul to evolve into Nick Gillespie. But until then, we just get producer Paul.
You know, it's aspirational. Nick is one of the best of us, and I am fine with that comparison. Thank you.
I know. That's like, man, I need to find someone else with a leather jacket to. That's a lesser than you.
The intermediate stage is me, and then there's like the, starter leather jacket. It's a leather vest.
It's a leather vest.
Even more depression.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. And like I said, we're going to get this wrapped up. Sitting here to my right, we got Vincent. Vincent, you can say hi.
Hey, everybody. I'm here as per usual.
Introduce yourself. Who the heck are you?
Vincent. I'm usually on Low Key Wall on Monday nights at 9 o'clock live. You should show up. If you haven't, we appreciate it if you do.
That's right, everybody. It's Vincent from the show that you're watching.
Yes, exactly.
And nothing else.
Exactly.
Well, this is technically like a different like area of the show. We're broadcasting on a different night. Yes, the podcast is going up the same feed, but the people who are tuning in live, they might not,
right.
So yeah, it's always good to.
I talk the least amount of politics. I don't care.
It's fine. It's fine.
I would much rather.
We're going to do an all podcast
combination.
I can't even say that right 5 times. Can you say that 5 times fast? What? It's going to be an all politics podcast tonight. All wall to wall. Wall to wall.
Well, oh no, we are not wall to wall. That is not happening. Unless ratings kick up for us doing it, we're making tons of money. Then I will wall to wall 20% coverage, clickbait tiles and all. Sources.
I'm just glad that we don't have a single bit
allegedly says
bouncing in the cup over and over and over again.
Does the cup annoy you? Do you want me to remove the cup? Is that it?
No, the cup's fine as long as there's not one single bit bouncing up and down without moving or bouncing around or any alteration whatsoever.
Now, Reinhold.
You see what producer Paul's doing? That's what he's trying to do on this one. He's trying to buy. He's buying bits right now. Like, no. Jeff Bezos doesn't need any money. Okay, doesn't need any money.
But I get it for free from Jeff Bezos.
No,
he's going to be putting ads in this so he can get money from us. So,
oh, God, don't remind me. Don't remind me. So, so this week, like Twitch, and Amazon in general did that big, massive layoff, right? Mm-hmm. I think we talked about a little bit of this on Monday. They did this massive layoff. They've lost a lot of of their staff, especially in Twitch, and which a lot of people don't understand or see what's going on because of like, well, Twitch makes money. It's like, yeah, it does, but it also causes a heck of a lot of headache. There's a lot of overhead too, and it also makes that money on a razor's edge too, like I said, it's a huge headache. Amazon makes a lot of its money on products that they have no headache on. So AWS, there's hardly any headaches when it comes to it. If your server gets hacked, AWS is like, bro, that's your fault. Your credit card cleared.
Well, and the other problem with Twitch too, I mean, and when it comes to running it, is the bandwidth, because they refuse to optimize bandwidth streams for anybody who's not a partner. So you end up having to either have to bite the bullet and do a lower resolution stream so that some people can actually watch it, or you do the full bandwidth and half the people trying to watch it can't.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're pumping out instead of doing more of a robust, scaling down like they do for all the people who are technically partnered, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot there, in my opinion.
Yeah. So there's several different local streamers. Like I was trying to troubleshoot for her stream, trying to figure out what's going on. So I had her stream to the very secret hush low key wall private server, and which streamed perfectly fine with like almost like I took full resolution from her. Like if she could push out 4K, I could accept the 4K image. No issue with her bandwidth whatsoever. It's Twitch. It's just how Twitch is taking your information in.
Yeah, I forgot about the other thing too. That's so it's the pushing out that the bandwidth is a problem too. But if they have congestion coming inbound, they prioritize partners.
Yep.
Right. So if you're not a partner and you're trying to stream, and they run into bandwidth issues, they're gonna drop your frames.
Yep.
And it's gonna be sad days.
Yeah. They pick you over like someone who's like really like that are butter in their bread, and it's gonna be even worse when they're like if they are losing because they have lost staff. I don't know, like and then also have like their room of growth. I think their growth pattern, what they thought they were going to do too, because a lot of different, you could feel like Twitch was trying to lean more into the esports world, and that kind of imploded on itself because of
esports imploded on itself because of other esports reasons, because esports was never profitable to begin with.
Plus, it was always the LANs that were the big thing, and then COVID kind of killed the LANs for a year or two, and now they're trying to recover. So that's why part of the reason why we're seeing a new version of CSGO. CSGO version 2 is out now in testing. So that's going to be fun.
Well, and then you have the cartelization of the entire esports landscape. Like, these major companies coming in and astroturfing teams instead of it being a group of plucky young guys who get together and decide, hey, we're going to roll up in this shooter and do really good at it.
Yeah, there's a lot of, when it comes to esports, there's a lot of stuff that is ridiculous when you look at it on the outside looking in, because you can see stuff like when you have stuff like Riot Games, who monopolizes all their games. So if you're going to run a tournament, you have to go through Riot Games, because they're the ones who have the rights to, and they won't let anybody else run tournaments without they're okay.
Right.
But then on the other hand, you have CS:GO, which Valve hardly ever touches if they don't have to, but they're going broke, and then they took a lot of Saudi money to run all these big corporations now. And on top of all the other ridiculous stuff on the back end of like all these organizations getting funded money thinking that they'd be profitable, and they never were, like, or FaZe Clan going public. Have you seen anything about that?
No. Why would they go public?
So FaZe Clan.
Why would they go public?
FaZe Clan went public, and they started off at like $10, and they are almost at the point of being pulled off of the stocks because it's less than $1 now.
Duh.
Yeah, I know. But they thought they thought it'd be an amazing idea to go public with their organization, because they had all these. They thought they were this big hot stuff organization, and then it turns out nobody wanted to invest money into them because they're a failing. Because esports is a not profitable venture.
Yeah, and it won't be.
That's the thing. It's not that it's not profitable, but how do you monetize it, right? How are you doing it in a way that somebody paying the stock is actually going to get return on that? So
right,
correct, yeah,
that's a hard to sell. I mean, you can do it for businesses. The business is going to be there, they're going to grow, blah 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 blah. But how do you sell that as an esports team,
right? To
do that, even though they are one of the better teams, you can give them that. But there's also some teams in like Valorant that are just straight up just some guys who know each other on the internet and started playing together, so
right. And then you have the flip side of the coin of Moist Critical, who did his own organization where he's literally went in and is like, yeah, I know we're not making money, I know I'm burning money to do this, but I want to do this because I think it'll be fun.
Good.
Yeah, well, Hiko did that, and some other guys.
Yeah, a bunch of people and you're talking about Valorant. The streamer Disguised Toast has a Valorant team called the Team Disguised. They just did it because he's an influencer. He wanted a team, so he put money in to buy a team. And most of them know going in that they're not gonna make money back. They're just doing it because they thought.
It's like when Hiko 100 Thieves. He knows the business. He's done this in CS:GO. He did it for years, so he knows he's not going to make any money because he knows the business well enough to know that. And I appear to be frozen.
Yeah,
my camera just died on me.
Yeah,
my camera just died. Okay, now it's back. All right.
We all looked at each other for a second. I'm like,
the other thing I always see was wrong with like esports in like a lot of, especially like newer sports, is that you look at the NBA, the NFL, and MLB as they are in their height. They're massive juggernauts, and they try to act like what Paul was saying, like astroturf themselves to that level way too fast. They haven't gone through the crap that they had to go to even get to that, to build up the fan base to it. They just kind of like, well, people pay for this game. People love watching this game. Of course, they'll shell out all this money to watch this. And that's not the case. And yes, I recognize some of the people that are playing are some of the best in the world. But it's like, yeah, but I don't care, man.
Right.
And then because there's not a massive talent pool with it.
Yeah, it needs to go back to being just we have sponsors. The sponsors pay for the prize pool. People get the money from the prize pool, and that's the entire function of this business, and not try to make it something a lot more than it needs to be. Because you start to take the fun out of it. The whole point is to see who's the better, is to have fun and pit people against each other who are good and see who comes out on top that day. It's not going to be the NFL. The NFL has much bigger base to pull from and a lot longer of a growth aspect, right? Yeah. Think about when the NFL started. I mean, pro football started in, over 100 years ago, right? And then the broadcasting and the Super Bowl and stuff, that was in the 50s and 60s and 70s when that started coming up. It took decades. And esports just thinks they're going to spin it up and turn it on and go.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen like that.
The big thing is that
the new generations are still getting into it, and it's become more commonplace. So there's a growth pattern there for it, but they're trying to push ahead of the curve, and that's just going to keep it back.
Right. They're in a weird, awkward spot, especially for most of the North American versions. A lot of these leagues, they're in the worst spot because like China has like some of the biggest people playing their games. And so they have plenty of people invested in that. And in Korea, literally the best League of Legends player has now part ownership in T1, the electronics company. And he's all over all the billboards and everything in South Korea.
I thought the best League of Legends player was Bankman-Fried.
Nah, he was silver, sir. Not even. No, Faker. Faker is like all over everything. If most people who are in the esports scene know of Faker because he's just so ubiquitous with League of Legends because he's been playing for the last like 10 years and people still consider him the best even now. And he's been playing since he was like 16 and he's like 26. To the point where like he's so good that they're not letting him do his military service. Their mandatory military service.
Like, no. You can't risk this.
We need this. He's our money maker. He has to stay. Everybody else can go to the military service. It's fine. But in North America, that's where a lot of the issue is because Europe is all in on CS:GO. So there's tons and tons of CS:GO players and organizations in Europe that are all in for CS:GO and sort of Valorant now as well. But for North America, you're just kind of there's so much stuff here.
We're in a moot point also because like there's a lot of weird copyright laws that businesses have locked down because they see the money that's in NFL, the NBA, and the MLB. They wrote in contracts like, hey, no, if you're doing this, you have to cut us in. Like no matter what or we won't even let you do it. You like the Riot one. He's like, oh, you can't even do it. We won't even let you make a tournament. It suffers through other sports things too. You watch like the WNBA. The WNBA I see suffers because they try to be the NBA before they even have the fan base for it. People like it. There are people who watch the sport, but it's just too big. Your stadiums are too big, and your schedule's awful. And that's the other thing when it came to like. The Paladins Pro League. Like I loved watching the Paladins Pro League, but it had an awful announcement schedule, awful when the games were, and then also like having Paladins control it and no land play also with Paladins. Like technically they didn't also launch that. But anyways,
but that's also the other issue with a lot of those hero-based shooters in particular because Valorant went more of the CS:GO route where there's you die once and that's it. The end of the round, you're over. It's a lot easier to follow. That's why a lot of like Overwatch became such a big issue because it's not a very spectator friendly thing to watch because there's so many particles and so many things happening over and over again. And they also like messed up a lot of like the Overwatch League really screwed over the people who bought in. Like you bought in like when the Overwatch League started, their whole thing was that they were going to do homesteads where they would travel to where the cities are supposed to be at and have them at the locations. And the buy-in was like $100 million, like some absurdly high amount of money to buy in. And now that they're doing the Overwatch League, half of the teams that are playing didn't even have to buy in. They were just these are the challenger teams we're putting them in.
So I did some casting of.
Hold on. Competitive gaming in America seems to be a less esport and more who can get the most streamers.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's eyes on
more
the sport.
Money.
Yeah, but it's eyes on the
There's
sport.
More money in streaming than there is in playing competitive right now.
Yeah,
right. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. And
that's why Hiko retired. He's just said he's getting too old for it, and he just decided he's gonna still be like a part owner of the team, but he's just gonna stream now. That's the thing. So he does a good job there. But
it was like to some of that in the NFL.
Dirty
Like they
Bomb.
didn't like certain players, but they just like, well, this player's brought eyeballs, so we're just going to let this player do what he wants. But yeah, go ahead, Randall.
So Dirty Bomb's a similar game to Overwatch in the fact that, and Paladins, in the fact that it's a hero shooter, but you have, respawn, you come back and that sort of thing. So I casted a couple of those games when they were doing their league, and it is kind of, so I can follow what's going on because I know the game well enough. But the problem is how do you translate that into somebody who isn't 100% in the game like that? Now, with CSGO, you still have a lot of parts of the casting where you are talking about some very nuanced things that are happening for the person to watch. But because there's less chaos in it, right, that you have to follow, then it becomes easier. It's like with football, you have downs and you have plays and you don't have just constant back and forth game. North America doesn't like watching soccer because it's too, there's no set plays. There's no rounds. It's just kind of almost chaotic to the viewer. So in that mindset, it's hard to get used to it. So I think that's why Europeans maybe like those hero shooters better because they're kind of used to that kind of play.
Yes. Whereas
Americans are much more... Yeah, but Americans are much more into football and baseball and basketball. Well, basketball would be the same where it's kind of, but it's still 5-5 plays back and forth. It's not really, and you get a time limit on how you can have it. So soccer doesn't do that. Soccer can be much more, much less strict, I guess, in the gameplay aspect of it.
Well, in Paladins, a lot of the player base has potato brains because if you watch or play basketball, right, you can you understand that where it doesn't matter if you can put up all these points or do different things. Like if you can't move the ball, you can't do these different things, and also where damage happens. Like the worst type is, let's pick on Victor players for no reason. Let's say like this Victor person gets like, I got 100K damage, well, the damage happened away from the point, happened in these one-on-one fights that meant nothing. We couldn't move. We couldn't do anything with that thing. Yes, you got all these kills. You got all this damage, but it was nowhere near the ball.
Because you put 55% damage on all 5 of them from your little sniper's nest and then didn't kill anybody. And they all were able to heal that because you were just spraying into the crowd.
Or you do get some kills, but they're back in the game by the time you get to a point where you can take advantage of that kill, right?
But I think one of the reasons why streaming is more popular in America versus the esports team-driven stuff is because, like, even look at the way we view basketball nowadays. We look at the 1 or 2 players on a team, and it's like, that's the guy, that's the team, and everybody else just supports that guy. We're in it for personalities. We don't care about team sports anymore.
It's always been that way, though. I mean,
with
basketball. I mean,
I know, right? That. Especially basketball.
Dr. J and
I'm just saying,
Magic
like
Johnson.
Our entire
Bird.
way of looking at something isn't we're here to root for. Well, yeah, we're here to root for a team, but really we're showing up to root for Joe Burrow, Tom Brady. Like we're looking for
similar kind of things. Or you going with basketball in particular? If we just take the last couple of teams that won the chips, it's like, well, it's Steph Curry's team. And that's everybody knows that's all Steph Curry. And then it was Giannis, who's massive, tall Greek black man.
Any of these people.
So you know. And then before that, again, was like Curry, and then LeBron. It's most of those teams that like won a lot of chips. It was based around one guy that people cared about.
Yeah.
And even now, like you have like the Mavericks, which were like Luka Doncic and stuff like that. Yeah. But the point I was going to go on with the soccer thing is that I feel like the issue isn't that it's so chaotic. The issue is that there's no points. For a lot of us, we want to see the numbers go up. We want to track and gauge who's winning by what the score is. So that's why a lot of things like football is like, you have massive high scores, and people call the games that end 9-6, which is a grind fest on both teams, a boring game. when you have, or you look at the last Super Bowl, which was like both teams scored over 35 points. Everybody's like, this is the best Super Bowl ever. And it's like,
is it that? Was it
right? Was it? It was just because
the Pro Bowls are like 110 to 50. You know, it's like
right.
But I mean, hockey's got a similar thing with soccer. I think is that you have people on kind of everywhere on the field, and it's really kind of hard to follow. And with hockey, I think it's hard on TV to watch because it's really hard to follow the puck on a TV screen, right? With a camera trying to zoom in and he's trying to follow the puck and get the movement and get the action, and stuff's happening off to the side. So you try to do a wider shot and then you can't see where the puck is. So they try to do digital enhancements to highlight where it's at so you can see what's going on. I mean, there's problems with televising and getting engagement in that, whereas they're perfectly fine stadium sports where you can go and sit and watch them live and you're fully in, you know what's going on, everything's good. But when you try to do it on TV, it doesn't translate as well.
So I'm with you on that one. I can watch a hockey game live. I love watching hockey live at a stadium and going there and watching a hockey game. I can get into it. I'm get amped for it. I love it. But on TV, it's like, okay, I know what's going on. I understand the rules, but it's just like I don't get as hyped, But if I'm there, I'm like, heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, something about it is lost in that taken away from being there, right? So you don't feel the hits or hear the hits. Now, football got around that by miking a lot of stuff, right? So they've got the telescopic mics in there to hear, so you can hear the hits. You can kind of almost feel it when it happens.
You can't do that with
soccer.
hockey.
You can't. Yeah.
Can't do that with hockey. You have to be on HBO, HBO.
Maybe they would break the mics.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Within the first 5 minutes of play. Oh, you body checked him and shattered the mic into 10 million pieces? Good to know.
Well, like with NFL, they did the telescopics though. They sit on the sidelines with them, and they can pinpoint the plays out on the field and still get that to throw in.
I just figured they just chirp each other just way too much and just like we can't bleep all that.
But like. I totally understand that, but you can definitely see why football and basketball are the most popular sports in North America compared to, hockey and soccer and all the other ones, because those are the ones that have the most points and the most scoring, and know what's happening, and to the point where the XFL is happening right now. Yeah. And there's tons of people who are actually watching the XFL. Like the St. Louis team had a home game because they don't have a team anymore. They sold out the stadium.
Wow. And a lot of it is because people also played the game as children too. Right. I think that's a lot of the thing when it comes to like a lot of the esports. It's like, well, yeah, this game's hot now, but it's going to be hot in 5 years, 10 years. Do I really want to invest myself to being good at X game?
Yeah, so that's one good thing about CS:GO. Had staying power, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
So the concept of the game itself, blah blah blah. Now, I think Valorant's going to follow in that path,
or try to
and be around for a while. But look at all the other games that have come and gone. I mean, Paladins is still out there, but it's not. You have your rise and then down again, right? Dirty Bomb was going to be a competitive thing, and it just went away. So there's all kinds of things like that.
Well, there's still certain games that are around. Like the longevity of the game really helps it. That's why there's still people who play Smash Brothers Melee, because everybody loved that game and they spent time and effort into learning it, and that community is still out there to just keep playing it.
Yep. And so Street Fighter, and the losers who play Tekken. Get jumped in the next tournament.
There's still some Killer Instinct guys out there too, so don't go down
what I mean. Is that there are some games that have the longevity that sometimes you didn't think they were going to. Like nobody knew that Melee was going to be still being played 25 years later. No, it's not that long, but it probably will be at that point.
But seeing even that makes me like every time like someone goes like, hey, when I get a new Nintendo and get a Smash Brother game, like, you want to download this? Heck no, I need the physical cartridge.
Right, because you never know.
Playing this thing for years.
Yeah. I want to be able to keep playing this no matter what happens.
Yeah,
so. Yeah, I guess the Nintendo announced that the Wii Universe shut down. So
yep.
Oh yeah, the
studios,
all the Wii marketplaces.
The Wii U one, because the Wii shut down the year before. I remember getting on my Wii. It was trying to like, crap, me to spit on this bunny.
download all these games I'm never gonna play.
Yeah, well, I had credits on that.
Yeah, I had it. Might as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's one of those of esports. Very depends on the longevity of the game, and sometimes they just fall out of the spotlight. Like Rocket League still has a competitive scene, and it's still happening in the background.
Yeah,
but not a lot of people are invested in Rocket League like it was when it first came out. When Rocket League first came out, everybody was like, "Yes, Rocket League, cars and soccer. This is gonna be awesome," and it was super hype for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
And there are still people who play it, but it's in the background. There's a lot of that kind of stuff of like. And then you have games like the Marvel vs. Capcom 3s, which it's just coming back to Evo after being gone for a while. You know, games that have been around for such a long time, they've just entrenched themselves in the culture of gaming.
Yeah. Well, Harry, remember this: when Guild Wars 2 came out, it was sold as a competitive game. Well, it was going to be PvP and it was going to be competitive gaming, and that was the thing. And then you had the MMO part was like an afterthought or an add-on. And then at some point, and after about a year or two, they realized we want to keep retention. We want to get people into this game. We're going to have to increase the story more, and we're going to have to do more around that. So they turned it to that, which took focus away from the PvP side, which irritated a lot of the PvP players, and they have kind of decided to walk away. So now they have automated tournaments that happen all the time that you just go there and you're part of the tournament. And there's a couple of guys who stream who will broadcast those games, but it's not like it was. It's not like an esport game anymore. Right. And a lot of the PvP people are doing it more for the memes. Like there's one team from France who was playing recently, and they were just 5 elementalists. It was like a meme thing. And the thing is that spec is kind of overpowered, so they were just doing full overpowered elemental spec, and it was out there, and they were wiping the floor with everybody with it, but it was they weren't taking it very seriously. So yeah, it's just what it is. It's a shame to see that, because they did have it's got this great engine behind it that you can have really fast gameplay. But it's all the marketing and the lack of community management and all the things mistakes that they have made that they're trying to correct now. I don't think it's going to come back, though. I think it's just going to be more of a focus on the stories going forward, which is still good. It's still a great game for that reason. But the competitive stuff, people just if you don't hit right away, Guild Wars. Dirty Bomb was the same way. They were getting offers before they even launched their beta to be an ESL broadcasted esport. They turned down ESL because they didn't think their game was ready enough. They didn't want to have that problem. So they come out, they release their basically open beta, early release, as it were. And the numbers were huge through the roof. Everybody was loving this game. All these people from these competitive games were coming over playing it. It was going to be the new thing. And because there wasn't anywhere to do that competitively as an esport, those numbers dropped. And then they dropped and dropped and dropped. And just they tanked it because they just made mistakes at the beginning of the thing. They weren't ready for it.
Yeah. It happens. Ace goes, another part of hockey's issues, the speed of the puck. Even Hawkeye, Mihawk would have had trouble keeping of it. Love the One Piece reference. Then cars with soccer, I think Top Gear. Yeah. When I first saw Rocket League, that first came to my mind, Ace, was the episode of Top Gear where they play with the soccer, which I loved Rocket League. I think it had when I was playing it, when I think it made me stop is the matchmaking in the beginning, because I'm fine with playing, but I just got boat raced one time. I was sitting there trying to play it, and I'm like, what is going on? I can't. I clearly got misplaced and was just with people that was high level than I was, and I couldn't keep up. And
this isn't.
Yeah. When I was watching people just twirling, like I don't even know how they did that.
If you want to ruin Harry's experience with a piece of media, just boat race him once, especially if you're like under 15, and he'll just never play that series again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unless, of course, somebody drags him into it, then he will slow roll on finishing the series. Speaking from experience.
You know what, Paul? You know what? I'm gonna finish Girl Lagan at your funeral, okay?
Well, no. That's the other thing. If the piece of media makes him cry too hard, he won't watch it. But if it's interactive and you just whoop his ass, nah, he's done.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then that's when he challenges them to play Initial D. That way he can get his win back.
Yeah.
I always found to get good at a game like that, though, you got to play with people who are better than you most of the time.
See, I get that.
Not so much that you can't figure out what's going on, or you take one step and you're dead, like that, that sort of thing. But that they're challenging you, and then you can see what somebody at another level is doing and learn from it. That's why I watch esports a lot too, is I can learn a lot about playing that game by watching better people play it and going, oh, I didn't think about that. That makes sense. So that's where I get that. But unfortunately, I don't have the time to invest and make myself to actually take advantage of a lot of that. But it's nice to know where I'm at. Like I was with Dirty Bomb, I was always a slightly above average player. It was never, I'm really good at this game. It was like, I'm better than a lot of people who play this game, but there are people who own me, and I don't even have any business being on the game in the same game with those guys. But the best compliment I ever got was after we were playing some ranked games. Somebody recognized me and said, "Hey, I remember, playing with you before." And I said something, and he says, "Well, I'll just tell you this. I'm not ready to jump out of the game because your name's here. You've gotten better." To that point. So it's like, okay, so
it's always a good feeling.
That's a compliment, I guess.
That's right, home.
I don't want to
go to the store.
Jump queue just because you're there.
This one's in the bag.
That sounds like a niece thing. That 100 sounds like something niece would say.
God, man. Yeah, some assault.
No, there are people I watch. Like I said, I watch Eco play Valorant a lot, and sometimes there'll be this guy, because he's streaming, so you get a lot of people who try to time their game to get into their matches with them and stuff like that. And it's not just stream snipers. There's people who buy accounts, right? So somebody has built up an account, and now this guy goes in to play it, and he's not good. He's not. He shouldn't be in their level and getting in matches with them, but he is. And then you can go look at their history, and you see that they were like 70% win, 70% win rate, 70% win rate, and then after about 3 weeks earlier, it's like 12% win rate, 12% win rate. It's like they can't win anymore because it's a different person playing the game. You can see it, right? So they have to deal with that kind of thing where they get in there and they got a guy who's basically just throwing the game. So he has to, deal with that because of being a streamer.
Yeah.
Stream sniping, that sort of thing. It's a fun time.
Issue. Yeah, skill issue. It's fine.
Skill issues all the way down.
If they didn't have a skill issue, they wouldn't have bought an account.
All right, so not to beat the esport thing too far, the other thing I wanted to talk about, I want to do like a Monday episode about this too, is because this week, I'm sure, especially Vincent was glued to his TV set watching the United States grill the TikTok CEO. And the thing, what I wanted to which was just amazed me, right, is all these people who never heard the word bike dance before. And then it was like going to talking to people, was like, who's bike dance? It was like, do you know who Tencent is? And it was just like, no. I'm like, oh.
It's
really want to know who owns everything.
Those are names of organizations that you're not paying attention to if you're not caring, because that's not the name that's on everything.
Correct.
If you're playing League of Legends, it doesn't say Tencent, it says Riot Games. Same with, Epic. It doesn't say Tencent, it says Epic Games. So these massive organizations are able to just sit around in the background and foot the bill with nobody saying anything.
Hoover up money and sit back there and
then take their 20% tax from the government.
Yeah, and and it's just it's always shocking when someone goes like, I didn't think, these a lot of companies, they do business as other companies. Because they bought something else and they just keep doing business as that entity, the name. So you don't see other entity. Just like a lot of people will say Google. It's Alpha Goog. Alphabet's really Google.
But everybody says
Meta is for Facebook.
Yeah.
Or Meta. God, I will never forgive Mark Zuckerberg or the Meta company for destroying such a beautiful world of metaverse, right? And destroying it, taking the goodwill from that thing, destroying that in the VR space. I'm glad they burnt money. I can't wait for them to go down in flames. I'm glad that they did bring inexpensive VR hardware to people, but still, what the actual crap? I'm not a huge VR person, right? But I'm more than most, and I just get frustrated.
Well, I mean, they were trying to invest in the new technology and thinking that that's going to be the new Facebook when they realized that's not how this works.
They could have gone down the path of the Fine brothers and just tried to sue anybody who used the word reaction in their videos or something like that. But
well, I mean, they literally stepped directly on a company that was doing business as Meta and had a very similar logo to what they unveiled, which is the least creative. We made a Curvy M. It's for Meta, in case you don't get it.
We're talking about Mark Zuckerberg, who stole the whole idea for what he's doing from the Winklevoss twins. I mean, come on.
Well,
was that in the movie?
He's not original. He's never been original.
No, because he's an android programmed by somebody for nefarious ends. But I don't see in what universe they thought that people would strap on VR headsets, log into the metaverse, and do what they do on Facebook, which is get angry at your grandparents.
Yeah, from that it just feels like, have you ever did VR chat? Have you ever gone to the VR chat?
No, obviously not.
Do you use your own product at all?
Right. That's the other thing. It didn't look like anyone uses their product. They just made product.
Sounds like they just bought Oculus and they wanted to do something with it.
But they could have bought everyone expected them just to buy Oculus, let Oculus do what they want, but then they just use the technology to make enterprise stuff. And they didn't, and they created a vacuum in the enterprise space. So there's tons of different VR companies for enterprise companies, and it's amazing some of the VR hardware that they have, especially some of the simulators for flight simulators, teach people how to fly planes and tanks, or just even some of the surgical VR stuff. It is amazing. There's super expensive. No one's touching it. And there's things where they've got omnidirectional, almost like Ready Player One setups, and it's you want it, but this isn't for you. This is a company that's buying it to train different people.
Just let me know when they have.
Christy, that's where drive home. Hey, Christy, drive safe. Okay, all right. Hope it's not.
Christy.
Yeah, hope it's not a big car. We don't like big cars here.
Hey, Christy, do you need us to every 10, 15 minutes just do a loud noise to make sure you're awake?
No, that makes sure you're awake, Reinhold. That's what that is.
Producer Paul, go ahead, get the sound effect board spun up. Let's play sirens once in a while. Slowly, just.
Well, that's the thing. I love listening to podcasts, love listening to books, but if I'm at least a bit tired and I'm driving, it's got to be music, or else I will fall asleep.
Yeah. All right, Ace. Unless there are real Digimon, refuse to associate it anyway with Meta. No, if you want, if you want good Digimon, go into VR chat. No, for VR. But yeah, there's
somebody saw read Neuromancer and thought, "Oh, it's time. We can make this happen." So
it's just like the metaverse. It's just junk. It's trash of what they have. If you jumped into VR chat and just see what people have just made with a small team with a little budget, it blows beyond anything like most of the stuff they've done in metaverse.
It blows my mind the stuff that people do in Roblox. compared to that. Somebody literally made a first-person shooter, like it's like high quality, like team-based, team deathmatch, first-person shooter in Roblox. And it's just like, and the only reason you know it's in Roblox is because somebody said, because you see them loaded up in Roblox. It's the only way you could tell.
Well, it's like that in VR chat. You can go to different spaces and rooms, and you're like, wow, this is gorgeous and amazing. And I took some time and I opened up Blender and I built this thing. Like, how's your team? I'm the team. I did this. And it's just like
didn't we do this all with Second City with Second Life?
No, that's for old Gen X lamoids. That's their crappy VR thing. This is so much better.
Slow around. Hey, people were making money selling real estate in Second Life.
Oh my god!
Really, people made $1 million selling real estate.
Real estate,
if you can believe it.
Sex work.
See, like,
well, it started off with real estate. There was a lot of real estate stuff. The sex work came later, but it was initially.
I thought about spinning up servers and doing VR chat hosting services, because there are a couple out there that help people host their own VR instances, and I'm just like, this is just some VMware, it's like, man, maybe I should get this business.
I've encouraged you several times to start up a server farm. There are plenty of unused empty marshes in the neighborhood that we could just have. They're free. You just run an extension cable from the Home Depot.
This is something the government doesn't want you to know.
There's been a playing field that's been sitting empty for about 6 years.
The marshes.
Jim,
I've got 5 marshes at home.
What's this extension cord go to? It leads out the door and over towards the old marsh. We don't touch that. It might be important.
Yeah.
The infrastructure just is there.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of stories that somebody's like, oh yeah, there's a MacBook in the IT room and nobody knows what it does, but if you unplug it, everything goes down. So that has to stay plugged in and don't touch it.
I've been to places like that where it was like there's something plugged in, and I just go, "What the fuck is this thing?" And everything shuts. I'm like,
"Never mind."
Oh,
it's important for some reason.
Today we had an unscheduled outage. Somebody got curious.
We had an application running on an NT4 server, and it was like the developer had left 8 years before, and nobody knew how this thing worked. And we're like, well, we're trying to get to 2008 servers. We've got Active Directory running. We're trying to modernize everything. We saw this NT4 server is unsecure as all get out, and it's like, can't touch it. Nobody knows anything about it. You turn that thing off, that whole thing goes down. I'm like, well, somebody might want to look into that.
I'm not gonna lie. When you were naming the server, I got to the N, I got to the T, I got real nervous. Like, oh, please, we don't need an NTR server.
I mean, if you want to make some money, you can spin up one of those servers. Yeah. People would pay to subscribe to that server.
So how Ryan Home made his millions. My company has started to give me all the legacy stuff that no one really wants to touch. It's like, we have no idea how this works or why this is broken. You fix this. It's like, just because I have done this on many occasions doesn't mean I enjoy this, and it doesn't mean you have to keep giving me this. Here you go. And right now I'm trying to diagnose why this thing keeps crashing. The script keeps getting it back up, right? But it keeps crashing. And I'm just like, well, why it keeps crashing? And I still can't figure out why. I'm going through logs right now. Yeah, this is brilliant content. I know everyone loves this stuff. But I'm going through logs. It's like removing things that are coming up in the logs that isn't the error right now. So I've done that this afternoon. And it still crashes. Not as much, but still crashes. So it's like, I was like, okay, am I DDoSing myself? What is going on? But yeah, so.
No, if we want to pull people off of Tech Talk, I did see something that's going on. You guys, it's not as interesting to me because of my age.
Okay.
But it's something that you guys might be interested in. I don't know if you know about yet. In April 19th, there's a movie being released.
Okay.
It's Power Rangers.
Oh, once Once and forever.
Yeah, once.
It's all the old Power Rangers come back that
all
who are
the
still
ones
alive.
that are still alive.
Yeah.
See, I just can't watch.
I saw the trailer for it. I don't know if you've watched the trailer for it.
I've seen the trailer.
You should really watch the trailer. You should watch it now on air so we can get your reaction to it.
Yeah, I was set that like Austin, we don't get Austin St. John in it because of legal reasons, because effing up taking money from
just because he sliced somebody up with the katana or something.
No, he did not slice someone up with a katana. Okay,
you can tell they wanted to have Jason David Frank in that movie because they made Zach the leader because they were like, well, we can't because Rocky doesn't have any personality,
none,
and we can't do Austin St. John, who is the original Red Ranger, and Tommy isn't here, so we gotta pick somebody.
I watched the trailer and they've got the second Red Ranger, right? He's in there, and literally, I don't think he says a word the whole time.
Exactly.
He just kind of looks at somebody and looks back, and he looks, and that's it. That's all I see him do in this whole trailer.
Yeah,
really, you gotta watch it because it's the best part about the trailer is that it's so obviously camp type thing. I mean, you've got these 35, 40 however old people still saying it's morphin' time, right? And wearing masks and all that stuff, but the music is like something from The Dark Knight. It's like really serious, like trying to build this whole thing. It's like those don't go together, man.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You need to watch some Sentai members, like the Japanese Sentai stuff.
the Power Ranger stuff can get really dark, and the classic Japanese stuff before they translate it over that can also get really dark, like really dark.
Yep.
I mean, there's literally one Power Ranger season, I believe it was RPM, that humans lost and the technology won, and everything's a wasteland.
Yep. Yeah. The Green Ranger dies. And the Dragon Zord it's sad. It's sad that the Green Ranger's dead.
I believe it's Lost Galaxies. One of the actresses had real life cancer, so they had to write her off the show. And to do that, they killed her. And they had the villain character who
from the previous season
come back to be the Pink Ranger for them that season. The Power Rangers does a lot of wonky, really dark stuff. There's some really dark stuff in there. But I'm just sad that they didn't bring back Jason David Frank because he's gone.
Yeah.
But also they didn't bring back Johnny Young Bosch.
Yeah.
To have him just show up as the Green Ranger.
Have you watched the trailer?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. You didn't watch the trailer.
So, he's probably in there, isn't he?
You didn't watch the trailer.
That's good then.
You didn't watch the trailer.
But I did see that it's basically all focused on Zach.
No, I got the trailer. I was getting ready to put it up.
I know of it. I've seen some clips of it, but I haven't watched the whole trailer. But I also know they're fighting like a robotic Rita.
Yeah, which is it's. I don't know how I feel about it. The robotic Rita. I don't know. I know the original actress who did the part. She passed away with like almost 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago now. But it's still, and so it's like, okay, but it's just like, I don't know.
It feels weird.
It just feels weird. It didn't feel weird when they brought Lord Zed back, the costume, Lord Zed back.
That makes sense.
In the other one, that didn't feel weird for some reason. Maybe because it's the full
costume. It's the costume, because the whole thing was Rita was a woman.
Yeah.
It was an actual actress in a costume.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it feels so weird that they're like robot instead.
It's a robot.
Yeah, it's just a robot in there. It's like just use Zed then.
No,
let her be. Just use Zed then.
Because they had an ending. Had an ending. I liked the ending, and they let her go. This is like, come on. Whatever. I'm still gonna watch it. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm absolutely gonna watch
it. I even watched the Forbidden Power Ranger episode, Forever Red. I watched that on occasion. Which Ryan, have you watched Forever Red?
No, I have not.
How much Power Rangers have you watched, Ryan?
None. Absolutely zero. I know nothing about Power Rangers. I told you, it was after I was a certain age, and that was all young stuff, and it's out. How many? I mean, you guys watch Wacky Races?
I've watched Wacky Races. Yes, I have. Yes.
Forgive him his sins.
No.
See, Reinhold, I watched a lot of the old cartoons because I had cable and that had Boomerang, so I was able to watch a lot of the old cartoons on Boomerang.
Yeah, I like Wacky Races. I think they could probably redo that live action, and I'd watch it. I think it would be really good.
Did live action Rocky and Bullwinkle. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched that because the soundtrack was fire. Okay, it was amazing.
The only part they got right in there was Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I know, right?
It wasn't Danny DeVito.
I think Wacky Races, if you do it right with actual like Hollywood stars, right, like or just get stars and stuff like that, I think it could be done really well.
The issue is that they kind of tried to bring it back in that Scooby movie because Dick Dastardly was the villain.
Yeah,
in that movie.
Yeah,
which they tried to do it, I guess, but it just did not.
But did they cast Chris Pratt as Scooby-Doo?
Not yet. They will. That's why he's not in Velma, because they couldn't get Chris Pratt to be Scooby-Doo.
What I told you about that word? What did I say about that word?
Yeah, but you're laughing. It's okay.
Not this episode. Not on this show. Not on this network. We don't talk about that show. Okay? All right. That may fly on some other low grade, awful brow network, but not this one. We don't talk crap like that.
But I mean, Wacky Races could work, but there's a lot of issues with it. Because you're gonna have to spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
To make it live, especially making it live action. Yeah. It's Wacky Races. If the cars aren't like crazy, it's gonna be. People are gonna be like, "This isn't Wacky Races. This is just a racing movie." Boo!
This is just boring Top Gear.
Right, and even Speed Racer, which came out, was an amazing movie. The Wachowskis spent a lot of time and effort and money to try to make this movie awesome. It was awesome, but it still flopped.
Sorry, I still just got in my head. I'm just thinking, like, you get Roseanne, right? Accidentally driving like a Hitler a car, and you get Arnold seeing her in it, and he just runs over the antique Mercedes with his Hummer. That's what I want.
You're thinking something that okay. You're thinking celebrity Wacky Races.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Wacky Races. Something that has like.
Oh no, it still have that.
Who are you gonna have be El Kabong or Captain Caveman?
Oh man, So Brendan Fraser, right?
Blue Falcon. Don't forget the Blue Falcon.
Brendan Fraser's a good pick. Yeah.
See.
I was going to lean into like maybe Jack Black.
Oh man!
But
how many people can we get Jack Black to play?
Honestly,
you just need Brendan Fraser to play George of the Jungle, don't you? He already did that.
Yeah. That's why yeah. There you go. Ace is it says there was a Wacky Racers Game Boy Color game that I love. What?
That doesn't surprise me.
What post links?
Post links. Yeah, Wacky Races it was around enough when I was a kid that I know of it. I know about the concept of it.
Okay.
And being the youngest here, that says something.
I'm just
but okay, so ask
on D-pad. That's no racing games on D-pads. Please stop.
Ask Carrie how many of the like new stuff that's coming out, comics wise, does he watch? Those like Saturday morning cartoon stuff.
All right, which would he be? Would he be what Saturday morning?
I don't know. I'm old. I'm older than you, so I have no idea. Is there something?
That Saturday morning cartoons don't exist anymore, man.
Yeah, Saturday morning.
They don't exist.
Yeah, they don't exist.
They have entire channels that they air every day of the week.
Yeah, you can just sit a kid in front of Bluey and you'll be fine.
And right there, Bluey. Yeah. Like, may not watch everyone, but he does watch currently releasing cartoons.
Well, he is okay. So yeah, he has a reason why he might be seeing the new stuff that's on. So I don't have that. I didn't have that. So I had no reason.
Because he's hairy?
No, because there's people in his house might be watching them.
Well,
so it's going to be on the TV.
Gunther likes to watch Bluey. There was no save function though, so as soon as you stop playing, even after unlocking characters, new games have to be. Oh dear God,
that's ridiculous.
That's brutal.
That's ridiculous.
That's so brutal.
Yeah, I spent 20 hours unlocking Captain Caveman. What do you mean my batteries died?
Oh my God.
It reminds me of playing in television back in the day. Astro Smash. Oh my God.
That almost sounds like you had a bootleg copy where they didn't have the internal battery to save your progress.
Oh man. But yeah, a lot of the even like I think some of the even like cartoons that I would love to see like done something with. I think most of the people who have the keys to the kingdom right now that can have the access to the license, I don't want those people touching it.
Or they don't care
because they don't care about it. That's the worst part about it. Like, is a lot of the people who are getting the licenses to our like childhood of like the cartoon stuff like that. They don't care about the property. They want to tell a story, and they can't tell their original story, but they have the license in front of them. So like, I'm going to tell this story with just using this license, just like most of there's so many girls that got upset with the She-Ra. I was like, this isn't She-Ra. This is another story with She-Ra painted on top, which I understand. I was like, that kind of stinks, There's the same reason when you got some of the new like My Little Pony fan, like it was like us when I was watching the new My Little Pony, the overlay, like, this isn't My Little Pony, this is something else. I'm like, yeah, but this is neat. But this, you've taken a different story and painted the thing on top of like
right. They get that a lot, especially like when you do look at the backlash when Friends with Magic came out because it was completely different than everything before it, or like you said, She-Ra. Because honestly, original She-Ra had some stuff into it, but He-Man as a mythology in general is rough on its own.
Yeah,
and when they do it right, they cancel it or they don't care. Like the Thundercats reboot, it was basically an anime on Cartoon Network. It was actually really well done and really well animated, and they actually gave Lion-O a solid personality of him like actually growing to being able to feel like he can take over for his father and stuff.
Right.
Well,
canceled.
To be fair, the first one was basically an anime as well because they hired Japanese studios to do all the animation.
That is true.
So
it was an anime toy commercial.
Yeah. The other thing I would like, all right, I would say it's Codenames Kids Next Door. I would like to see someone like continue or tell a different story in that world. But the thing, all right, so the whole toy commercial thing, I hate that argument also. When some people's like, well, I didn't want to make a big toy commercial. No. If you want your series to continue on and you don't have like if it's especially a long story, it's got a toy. If your show does not toy, that's a lot of money you're missing out. George Lucas is sitting on a throne made of plastic toys. So just because I don't want to make a toy commercial, you better make toys. You better make it so you better have toys.
I'd say there's a difference in being a toy commercial and making something that can sell toys.
Yeah,
because Transformers was a toy commercial. Each episode, here's a brand new Transformer that you can buy in the store on Friday, which has no relevance to the plot and nobody really cares about. And they're just gonna put it away after this episode. But now you have another toy you can buy.
There's a plot reason why there's dinosaurs now. Okay.
There's a plot reason why it's CGI now.
But there definitely is a distinction there. And then let's not forget that the desire to sell toys has given us some of the greatest series known to Western or Eastern animation, like Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
It's like, I want you to make a series that can sell toys. Yeah, but I'll make it deep and thoughtful and make you want
that was the difference. They literally gave him carte blanche. It was like, we need you to sell models of spaceships. Do whatever you want as long as I get these models sold.
Right.
He's just like, excellent. And starts making an actual really deep and enriching story because he was given carte blanche to do so.
But also Neon Genesis Evangelion, like, hey, we want some of that gunpla money. Okay, here's fighting robots.
It's trauma.
But I'm gonna make all your kids depressed AF though.
Oh man.
I'm gonna make everyone his mom.
It's fine. It's fine. I was an adult when I found out that Asuka was awake. It was no, Shinji was. I was an adult when I found that out.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like,
was I the one that brought that?
But
I think it was. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'd never do that. I never knew she was
according
awake.
to the canon, she was awake in her hospital bed when Shinji becomes the lowest of the low.
God, terrible.
That's
terrible.
messed up.
As they say.
Oh man.
Yeah, but you're also forgetting, of course, Gundam was a toy commercial. It's to sell models.
Well, yeah,
that was the most obvious one of all of them.
Well, that is.
But then they also went traumatic places,
and then they also just kept going, and they're like, "This is making money. I don't care how you do it. Keep making new Gundams. I don't care if they're actually Gundams or Zaku's or mobile suits or whatever. As long as there's the Gundam brand on it, I want it made."
See, like they also did that for like canon reasons. Like the main reason like Xeon kept losing is because they kept making new models, and they just like, well, they're just running out of resources because they keep doing R&D to make new models. Which in reality, they were just trying to sell new toys.
Yeah.
But canon was like, oh no.
This is why there's like 3 timelines.
Yeah.
And then suddenly lesbians.
I mean, yeah. I don't know where this fits in the canon yet.
Well,
I haven't watched it yet.
It's not official. They're just really good friends.
Roommates.
Yeah.
No, they're bride and groom technically, because in the canon they are engaged.
Well, to get an apartment together.
They'll both be on the lease.
Yeah,
the
they're
argument
both going to be on the lease.
Who gets to sign first?
One day they'll both get husbands.
And that's how you get your Gundam cannon burned down to the ground. That's how you get Gundam. That's how you get Gundam canceled. I've seen enough people hype about it that if they did that, Gundam would be burned to the ground.
Well, what happens when you go woke, man?
But that'd be them going unwoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight back to sleep.
It's them going from canon to bait.
Just we got them. They bought in. We don't need them anymore.
Yeah, cut the cord.
What? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I think there's a massive distinction of it being just a toy commercial or it being something that can sell toys.
All right. I'll give you that one. Okay. Yeah. You don't want a straight toy commercial, but things should toy.
Right.
That's another reason. That's one of the biggest failure of the Disney trilogy is that the toys suck. Like the toys are awful. No one wants the toys. Most kids don't even care. Like I saw. Like as a kid they had a Kylo Ren mask and they called it just their Darth Vader mask. I was just like, no,
I'm Darth Vader.
I don't care.
Yeah, that's fair. It's
care.
fair. It's basically.
I was just like,
fine.
dang.
Oddly, that'd be the most flattering thing.
Yeah, he'd be excited by that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of that stuff in that trip. The saddest part is the most toyable, profitable thing in all of the Disney canon is Baby Yoda from a TV show.
Okay.
Well, that's because it's the Tweety bird of this.
I know,
generation.
and that's the saddest part about it is like this side character of a show is the most profitable thing in these 3 movies and all these books and all these other TV shows you made. The most profitable thing is a Baby Yoda.
Except it's not as profitable now because Mandalorian's numbers are tanked. Nobody's watching 3rd season. So
yeah,
maybe not anymore, right?
Well, not necessarily. They kind of like mess. I haven't watched The Mandalorian. I'm sorry, I didn't watch it. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, so when it went, awful, I really checked out. That.
I will tell you, Mandalorian 1 and 2, those seasons plus the Boba Fett interlude between.
Yeah.
Those are good. Those are good TV. That's really good TV. It doesn't matter if it's Star Wars or not. It's just good TV, good storytelling, good acting, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not going to watch it. I'll probably watch Rogue One again. I'll watch that and Solo. I liked Solo.
Wasn't Pascal in one of those? The actor Pedro Pascal.
What, in Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Pascal's in one of the Mandalorians. Which season? You know what season?
He's the Mandalorian.
That's what I thought. My brain is like, I was pretty sure that's what it is, because that's what basically started putting him in everything. That's why he's Joel in The Last of Us.
We can Randall's face is like
he's like messing with it. I know he's messing with you, but I couldn't let it continue because he started questioning it. Well, there's a whole meme about how Pedro Pascal is like, if you have a show or a movie or a TV show where there, is an older man who finds a young orphan and has to take care of it, you got to get Pedro Pascal in.
Yeah, he is Joel in The Last of Us, which makes sense.
Yeah, I haven't watched The Last of Us. Of course, I never played the video game, so
I haven't seen the video game. I haven't watched the TV show.
I enjoyed the video game. From what I understand, the TV show is pretty faithful to the video game, so that's always good.
That's good. Maybe we should make Reinhold do a playthrough
100%,
of The Last of Us.
It can't be 100%, but it's definitely more faithful than some other things that are. This is based off of a video game.
Oh, Resident Evil, Netflix Resident Evil.
Thank God that's your example.
And
moving on.
Man, can you bet? The thing is, right? You would really expect Netflix, right? The moment they could go like, okay, who's the main villain? You're not gonna believe this. The main villain, we can make us a white guy. Okay.
Yeah, the most evilest, whitest guy known to man.
It's gonna be great.
Who literally is blonde and wears a black trench coat and sunglasses.
All about eugenics, okay?
And was a police officer.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be great. Nah, let's change all of that.
And make him into a black guy.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Bowen.
And just to say, the one series that was the most faithful to the comic books out of anything that most people have ever seen, most people don't like it. So a lot of people didn't like it. And that was She-Hulk. Sorry, it was probably the most faithful adaptation to the comic book I have ever seen. And a lot of people, I'm not the only person that says that. Including the author of the She-Hulk comic book.
Here's the thing, Reinhold. I could see that being the case. I feel like the issue is that they didn't establish her first. That like when She-Hulk came out, she wasn't always break fourth wall, etc. When she was originally created, she was established, and they used what she was established as to go to this other path. The other issue is that some of the writing in She-Hulk was counterintuitive to a lot of the things they wanted to say and a lot of things they wanted to do. So, in my opinion, I feel like it's not for me. I wasn't going to enjoy it. But if you do, I'm glad you do. That's just kind of how I see it at this point.
But that was my point, though, is that just because it's a faithful adaptation, sometimes you can be too faithful, or sometimes you can just miss the mark, even though you're more faithful to the adaptation. And it depends on who's watching and who's liking it, et cetera, et cetera. So
I don't think it was that faithful. I think it was the hot steaming ball of garbage onto the eyes of the world, and the worst thing put to paper since I don't even know. It's so awful.
The most of the storyline was directly from episodes on the comic book.
Yeah, it's cope. Anyways, that's some cope there. That's some copium. So you should probably get that.
You can say that, and then you say that as horrible as the worst thing that's ever. But Velma's still out there. And how
we don't talk about that show, sir. Sir, we don't talk about that show. Sure, sir.
She-Hulk is the worst thing when you've got Velma.
Sir, I told you we don't talk about that show. All right? We don't talk about that show. I don't like mutant people, but we don't talk about that show.
We're just gonna keep this up.
He done messed it all up.
Yeah,
did it mess it up? Did it mess up?
Yeah,
now
the illusion's gone now.
Reinhold's not here live.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler: Reinhold's not here live.
It's okay. We feel safe telling you if you've stuck around this long. You're the real fans.
I know.
You deserve to know that Reinhold is actually completely CGI. He exists only in the metaverse.
The entire time.
Yeah.
This entire
Zuckerberg birthed me.
Yeah, Reinhold is live.
Hey, dude.
Oh boy, this is
riveting. Yeah. I really screwed it up.
You gotta cut this out of the podcast.
Like for some reason, it won't flip.
Go take them both out.
What?
Didn't you save the format?
He had it, and then it went away. He had me in the corner.
Yeah,
exactly where I needed to be.
Well,
now flip him.
He won't let him flip it. We tried.
Now you keep saying this flip move, right?
Pivot.
Right. All right. You keep saying this flip move, right?
Pivot.
Like I'm supposed to have this sort of flip button. Like I have a flip button. Let me tell you this: I do not have a flip button. You think I have a flip button? I do not.
Awesome if you did.
I do not have a flip button, sir. Oh no! Oh no! Good. There we go. Put Reinhold back in the corner. That's Reinhold in the corner.
I mean, there's also a lot to be fair to saying that sometimes not going exactly what the comic books or exactly what the source material is gives you a better narrative. Because like the only reason the MCU worked so well is because they didn't directly rip from comic books. They took ideas and concepts and changed them in a way that fit the characters.
Well, part of the thing too is you're taking something from a comic book. Let's say the comic book was written 20 years ago, right? Society's changed in 20 years. You have more stories you can tell. You have more things and nuances to the original that you can make that maybe wasn't thought of then. You can't limit yourself too much to the source in those regards, right? I mean, it just doesn't work that way.
I get that 100%. And it's those stories that made them popular, and I want and a retelling or close to telling of the original stories is what I wanted. You know, it's the same thing as like Lord of the Rings. When someone goes like, "Hey, we're gonna do Lord of the Rings," cool. I want Lord of the Rings. I do not want to see like Bilbo fire up his iPad, to go like, "Hold on, let me search what this ring is here on Magic Item Wiki." I don't want that. Yes, I have modernized this thing. Don't want that. Don't want it.
It's not about technology. I'm talking about storytelling aspects and things like. And who wants to? I mean, if I read, Wheel of Time is literally the longest book story that exists. Right? Mm-hmm. It is for one story. Mm-hmm. Encompasses like over 4 million words. It's bigger than any other series. Right? Including Harry Potter, blah, 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 blah.
We're going to talk about trash.
I read the books. I love the books. I watch podcasts about people talking about that book. It's an incredible work of fiction. They're doing the TV show now. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see the exact same thing that I read on the TV. I would like some differences. I would like some change, something to surprise me a little bit, something to, and you can't take a written medium where a lot of things happen in a way that you can only do through written medium. You can't do if you try to do it on a TV show, it ruins the illusion or the trick you're trying to pull or whatever that you can do on a page, but you can't do on the TV. So you've got to cut corners. You got to streamline the story a little bit because they're only giving them. It's like, hey, you got the deal to make it, but you're only getting 8 seasons for 15 books. You're only getting 8 seasons and this much time to tell it and this much money to tell it. You have to condense things. You have to make it work and switch it up. So people are completely losing their minds because it's not word for word scripted page onto the TV. Now there's some things that are there that are almost exactly like it was in the book. And there's some things that are completely different, but you can see where they're going with it.
Correct.
Like a great example. You think what you're saying, Reinhold?
No, I was just saying there's whole groups of people out there who have completely lost their whole mind over it. And on top of that, you got the people who basically didn't pay attention to the books because they think that the casting is woke. Because in the books, they specifically say dark skin, dark hair, but because people believe that it was medieval, European medieval times, which it's not. It takes place like hundreds of years in the future. It's they've kind of created their own headcanon that these were all white people with blonde hair and stuff, and then they came out and then they're not. You've got a whole group of people who are just completely losing their shit over that.
Well, Rhino, we like to have truth in casting here on the network, so that's why I want my mermaids translucent, just like they are in reality.
and with a million teeth, yeah.
Yes. They have to have the teeth.
That's what makes them amazing. Like a great example, Reinhold, for that in particular, not the second half of it, but the medium being transferred from book to TV, is Demon Slayer, right? Demon Slayer. There is a fight scene that happens in all of 3 pages. And in the anime, they do a 15-minute fight scene because they could animate the fight in an elaborate, amazing, high-end animation to show how awesome this fight scene could be, because they had the technology and they can show this on screen, and so they just did it.
Yes.
So that's one way of going about it. Another example is Chainsaw Man. I just watched the first season yesterday, all the way through. But the anime, the manga, the mangaka who drew it has a very deft hand and a good understanding of how to use panels and page layouts to give the most impact on things. There are points where he purposely goes outside of page panels to represent an action, or how framing of a panel can work so well. But in the anime, because they don't have panels and pages like that, they took ideas and concepts of how to shoot a scene based on old Hollywood and old directors, and using that idea and that usage of cinematography to kind of represent the same thing of understanding page layout by using cinematography as a replacement.
Yeah. And that's what I was talking about more of what I say, like more akin to like the written word, is when it talked about the difference between like watching here, look at the story in a manga and an anime. The story, like, yes, there's different things you can do in both, but like I can get the general idea of what the heck happened in this in the manga and in the anime, right? Like, is there something more in the other one? Yeah, but I get it. It's not like a completely different story. Like I was just, it's like, I'm not sitting there like, oh, and this happened. Like that. What are you talking about? that didn't even happen at all. What are you, But
a great example from, I think a really good example from the Wheel of Time that I was talking about is that in the books they talk about spell casting is weaving.
Animation of DS is unmatched in my honest opinion.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Demon Slayer does a really good animation. Sorry,
so they're weaving weaves of magic, right? So there's a source that you're tied to, and you're weaving weaves. And it was just like, are they going to be able to really do this on a TV show? How are they going to make it work? Is it a way you envisioned it or whatever? And when I saw it in the previews of it, I was like, they nailed it. They completely got, and especially the male half of the source that it's tainted, so it's black. It's got a black oily slick on it. So they have this white weave with a black slick layer over it for when the men channel. Very good. I loved it. And then people were completely upset because in the books they mentioned that the weaves, based off the type of weave you're doing, has different colors to it. And it's like, well, they don't have all the different colors. And it's like, guys, it's, how much money do you want to spend? They're trying to put this thing out there just to make them different colors because it's not that important.
Correct. Yeah. Don't be like the CW.
They're telling the tale with the weaves, right? So they're showing it. You're seeing this on. Just get over that part. I mean, I think sometimes fandoms are a little crazy when it comes to this stuff.
Fandoms.
Like, I know they love it. I get it. They love it. It's part of what they are. And trust me, I am with this book. This series is one of the biggest things. And by the way, it's not on my 9x9s will be in honorable mention.
Fair enough.
So if we ever do that,
next stream,
in their defense, changing the color of something is so simple my phone can do it. It's not exactly.
It depends. It depends because so the problem is that the way it's described in the book is you have different color weaves, so you have them melding together in like a tapestry of different colors, and you have to pinpoint those lines in the weaves. It's not like a solid weave when you look at it when you watch the show. It's kind of a wispy, smoky type of thing, and then you're trying to put different colors into it, and you have to make it a consistent through that. That takes a lot of work.
For VXRs to do that in live action, that it will get very expensive really, really quickly. The CW eats a lot of its budget up because for some effing reason, every hero they want to bring into the CW, it's got to have some power and some lightning bolt thing on for some stupid reason.
We get it. They had 20 seasons of The Flash, and in the 20 seasons, they had 50 different Flashes. We get it. We understand. That's where all the money went.
Yeah. This is
all the money went.
I don't know why we can't make money. That right there.
Like, I don't know, because you let Barry Allen run past the speed of time.
I know.
Every episode.
Arrow just makes so much money. Yeah, because the guys shoot Arrow, and it just the guys that we have out back doing fight scenes once in a while. And we're gonna go shoot on top of a Canadian rooftop for cheap.
Right? Like that's why the Netflix. The
Daredevil,
Marvel Knights, the Netflix Marvel Knights stuff.
Oh,
well,
that's
plus
what that is. Like the
plus
Daredevil,
Arrow had
Jones,
Cage
and all that stuff. They didn't
plus
have
Arrow had
money to spend on it.
Yep. The what?
Arrow had Captain Jack in it, so that's why that succeeded. So.
Oh man. Got me to watch the series. Okay, all right. Tell you that one right now. I was not in the Arrow.
I was going to watch it.
But when they said we've got John Barrowman, I'm like, sign me up.
That's what happened to me. I said John Barrowman's the I'm on. Let's see.
I know. It's like,
watch this.
Sign me up. All right.
But yeah, like
got me watching Real Lives of Housewives too. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was
terrible. But yeah, like the reason the Marvel TV shows on Netflix went so well is because these characters are just fighting.
Yeah,
you got Danny Rand that has like magical, mystical, visual powers. Everybody else in that show is like, there's a blind guy that hits stuff with batons. There's a guy with guns. There's a strong woman and a strong man and a guy who uses magic fists.
Yeah. Right. Easy. We can easily make money off this, and they're grounded stories. That's the thing. The stories are grounded, and they didn't need apocalyptic events to oh god, we got to care about this. It's like, no, this is just the villain that's happening. It's like what he's doing. He's trying to take over the city block.
Right. That's one of the things that that makes I watch a lot more of interpersonal stories, because I don't need it to be the world is going to end tomorrow. How do we stop it?
Yeah.
I need it to be like, this thing is happening with these people, and how are they going to figure this out?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's as simple as they need to figure out how to get together. And sometimes it's like, we need to figure out who's going to run this kingdom. But when it's like, everything in the entire world is on the line, and we have to trust in this one person to do everything, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. It's one of those stories I've heard so many times. And being in the comic book sphere, watching comics and reading comics, that happens so much because they have to keep raising the stakes in order to get people to keep watching, keep reading, buy the new event, buy the next event, buy the next event, buy the next event. And they start to get to this point. It's like, all right, we can't keep trying to destroy the world. What are we going to do? Make them fight each other. That's what we have to do. That's the only other thing we can do. It's like they get this
not gonna lie,
never-ending cycle of they're either fighting each other or they're fighting something that's going to destroy everything, and that's it.
Dragon Ball Superhero focusing on Piccolo was a breath of fresh air.
Right.
It was like, this is refreshing.
Right.
Are we stealthing? He's stealthing? Yeah, sorry.
Right. When you take it from
one of the things that was great about
the small is so much better.
the great about the original like Batman concept was that he was a detective, so he could they could have all these stories come up and they can twists and things. So it was more of a detective story than it was a superhero story. And then when inevitably things go down that path of he's a superhero type thing, then it comes
then it becomes
once you start beating up Superman once he's trying to beat up Superman, I mean, come on, it's not gonna happen.
God, right. And the only time that story worked was when it was Dark Knight Returns, the one where he's an old man.
Right. Yeah.
That's the only time it really worked is because he was old. Superman was old. He had planned for it, and you actually had a self-contained story of he's coming out of retirement, and here's the consequences of him being in retirement.
Yeah. It shows like it's. And the other thing, when you get to all right, so the main reason Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill failed is because they didn't really have any on-screen time together a lot, where it's these are friends fighting each other.
Right.
The emotional hit of those two fighting just wasn't there. It was just so what? Who cares? Now, if there would have been if each of them had a trilogy together where they were working together, and then the fourth one, it's Batman versus Superman, it would have this massive emotional hit. But they didn't do that. They rushed it.
That's what Martha was for.
What did you say that name?
All right.
Don't do it again. I can't have you fix the every hour.
That was sarcasm. That wasn't real.
What did you say that?
What did you say that name?
The fact that in the Deadpool versus Punisher comic, in that comic was Deadpool versus Punisher. And in it, Deadpool's about to kill Punisher. and he just, the person, Punisher said, something like Martha. He's like, oh, you said Martha. That means we're friends now, so I don't have to kill you anymore.
You said the magic word.
Yeah. It's according to movies, that means I don't have to kill you anymore. We're friends now.
Whew. Hey, let's go get a drink.
I hate you. He does love that.
I hate you, Wade. I constantly think I want a live-action Dragon Ball movie, but then I remember someone made something horrible with that property. Saying,
yes.
If you want
Evolution in it.
Yeah. I got there's Evolution. I also have the DVD of Magic Begins. If you want to watch that, Ace, it is 10 times better than Evolution. I will say that.
Did you know there's a live-action Gundam movie?
Yes, I have it.
I've watched it a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, I have it. I love it.
I own it.
How bad is it? On a scale of 1 to 10.
They don't call it it's in the Gundam canon, but they don't want to talk about it. They don't even say the word Gundam in the movie.
They didn't have a Gundam in Gundam?
Isn't that what Pacific Rim is?
No, honestly, it's an average movie. I want to give it a 5. I'm gonna go 5.
Perfectly average,
but it's a hairy 5, so it's like a 4.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's me. I'm a fan of it, so I'm a 5. But anyone else, yeah, it's probably a 4. It's a 4. Yeah. Because everyone I've forced to watch it, they were just like, "What is this? Turn this off."
And the fact that it stayed in canon for years.
Yeah, which to me, I because I can watch it as a fan, oh, there's people walking around a Gundam, oh, but most people are like, that's the worst CGI I've ever seen. This is Henry Cavill mustache level.
Who else is upset that they're making a Mario Brothers movie and they don't have John Leguizamo in it?
I'm upset about that. I admit
the fact that it's Charlie Day as Luigi makes me sad.
Yeah, it does make me sad too. Christy says, "Home safely, thank you, but almost make me run off the road laughing a few times." Oh no, we can't run off the road. One of these times, Christy, we will do this on a Friday at your house in the hot tub. It'll be great. Can't wait.
And we might even let you know when it's going to be, so you can be there. You just won't just break in.
Nope. It's more fun to watch her have to drive home because to get us out. Are you guys in my house? Yeah.
We'll feed Oscar, some hot dogs and stuff. We'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Fun all around,
Yeah, I got a key from last time. It's fine.
Got a key from last time. Oh my god! Yeah. It'll be the one that everyone wants to show up to. It'll be everyone up there. We'll have a lot of people to decode. I'm like, oh man, Axis is hot tub. This is great.
It'll be like a boss hog party again.
What does Christy say?
Oh yeah,
Brian would be able to make it over there. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can find the hidden house key and get past Oliver, oh yeah, we will. Shh, Vincent, that's a secret.
That was a secret.
If you want to hear the secret, go back and watch the stream. But yeah. So
like the Mario Brothers movie. I mean, it's a movie, and it's probably going to do okay. That's like my
Mario
opinion
Brothers.
on it.
It's a movie and it's Mario Brothers. That's about the Mario. That's about what you can say about it. Right?
Jack Black will be a good Bowser. They literally showed in a trailer that they let Chris Pratt do his Chris Pratt voice, and in the movie he does an actual impression of the game Mario, and it sounds really good. But he talks like Chris Pratt the rest of the movie for no reason.
I will say, yeah, the Jack Black Bowser makes me just want a full-on Jack Black Bowser movie.
Right. My issue is Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate all Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen ticks me off. I can't stand his face. I can't stand his
he does that laugh all the time.
That laugh. Most of his movies are. Did
you see the movie This Is the End?
Yes. That's the last piece of Seth Rogen material that I enjoyed.
Because he's making fun of himself in that movie about the laugh. Yeah. He's like, people say I got a weird laugh, and he's like,
Pineapple Express. I remember watching that and got violently angry that someone made me watch this.
In This Is the End too, they do make Pineapple Express too.
I was very right? God, it was awful. But This Is the End was funny. All right, I will give you that much.
It was hilarious.
Yeah,
my mom was talking to me. We're talking about stuff she's going to say. She goes, "I was thinking about watching this movie. This Is the End. It looks pretty funny." I'm like, "Mom, this is not your kind of movie." Mom, she doesn't like anything,
edible. Watch this movie.
Risque. Mm-hmm. I guess you would say anything that's like PG-13 or above. She's not on it. I'm like, no.
That movie has Michael Cera being a ladies' man.
Don't watch this movie. I saw somebody react to it the other day, like 3 or 4 days ago. Oh my god, it was the funniest thing because they were just like the whole time. Channing Tatum pops out and is like the perfect role. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw that. That's one of the last ones I saw in the theater. I saw that movie in the theater.
Speaking of movie theaters, I finally went back and finally went to the movie theater since the first time since the virus but unknown origin. I went to go see a movie, and guess what movie I went to go see? You're right. The 5 out of 5 star movie, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Oh my god, that movie has no reason to be that good. No reason. That's
not the original. That's a new one, right? It's not the original.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the new one. Yeah,
I haven't seen the new one yet. So the original was actually really good. So
there's no reason.
Antonio Banderas.
I want to.
What was it with these actors who are like really good hot actors when they were younger, whatever, but now they're doing just voice work and they're fucking awesome with it. Like Rocket, I mean, it's amazing.
Antonio Banderas is having fun. He's having fun as Puss in Boots.
I haven't seen it. I've heard good things. I've heard good things about the movie. I heard it was really, really good, and the villain was good.
Understated. Yeah. Anyone who, if you watch the Critical Drinkers review of it, understated. He's understating how good this movie is. I don't want to overhype it too much, but it is. I enjoyed the crap out of it.
I have heard nothing but glowing praise.
Yeah, I have heard nothing negative about it so far.
No, I'm gonna talk about it, but like this. I will say this: like it has got great pacing on it. It is set up a little bit for children, so some things some of the plot's easy to guess and stuff like that. Blah 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 blah. And you see things coming because it is a movie for children. But if you give it that leeway, it is just. Yeah, like the story itself is like, well, like if they wasn't the children, they could write it in this other way too. It's just it's phenomenal. It's got a great, phenomenal punch to it.
So is it an actual sequel, or is it like a reboot or anything like that?
Not a reboot.
So
and
it's a sequel that you don't have to have watched the prior.
That's
Correct.
in the canon.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. It's in
I
the
can say
canon.
the first one's good. I will tell you that.
It's in the universe. You don't need to know anything else that came before. Other
it's
than
the exact opposite of Shrek, where they actually get better.
How dare you? Okay.
I'll have you know, Shrek 2 is amazing.
Shrek 2 is peak, and then we don't talk about the remainders. There were 3 movies of Shrek. 1 and 2 were great.
And there's Puss in Boots, because that's in the canon. That's all.
There was a 4th one, but I'm ignoring that it existed.
There are 3 more Shrek movies after 2. There is 3.
There's some
Forever After, and then like 5.
Look at how many Despicable Me movies are there? If
5, I believe.
The videos, you know.
No, they weren't even. They all went to theater.
All went to theater.
They all went to theater.
No. Like,
every Despicable Me movie.
Not all the Minion movies did. There's a bunch of Minion movies that came out.
Bank.
I thought
they make bank.
They made
Minions
one
toy.
official Minion movie, and that went out in theaters.
Which I saw at the drive-in.
Which, you know, some women love, like the Minions.
Yeah,
the Minions are awesome. I can watch Minions all day long. They're hilarious to me.
Yeah.
The way they're written and the way they're acted.
That he has said. That is
top tier boomer.
That is
the top tier boomer.
No. I think it's actually very subtle stuff what they're doing with the Minions. That's gold for the kids. First of all, I mean that's selling stuff that you're gonna have the kids watching it because they're great. But there's also some very fun subtle stuff that he's doing for adults with those Minions.
All right. Producer Paul, could you add another stress point to Reinhold's column, please?
I have run out of marker. But no, it's like, yes, they're doing very subtle things. I'm just having flashbacks to like 6 years ago. It's like he turned himself into a pickle. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen. You wouldn't get the humor. It's a show for intelligent people. The Minions are for smart people too.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying it. I just said it's for the kids. The kids love that. But I'm just saying that they're also doing some fun things that I think adults could really appreciate.
Ace Goes the Land Before Time movie still made, I think. Yeah, they've made a lot of Land Before Time movies.
In the 20s, I believe.
Yeah, they made an absurd amount even after the original actress passed.
Yeah.
I mean,
some of them
the
grown out of
original actress for
Ducky is a whole can of worms.
That's its own thing.
Messed up. By the way,
are we gonna talk about Ducky? I got tissues right here.
No. I just checked something real quick because the Minion stick is basically the rabbits from Rayman.
Yeah.
The rabbits came out in 2006.
Yeah,
and Minions came out in 2010. So they literally just took the rabbits and then made them yellow.
Yeah, they're just
rabbits. Just did rabbits.
Yeah,
that actually tracks. I'm
Yeah.
fairly certain that they are the same creatures.
Basically,
if you shoot one and dissect it, it will be a rabbit on the inside.
Oh my god! Yeah.
They have the same level of like humor and out there like wackiness.
Banana. Oh, this is stuff that adults will appreciate.
You're not giving it a chance. I'm telling you.
No, we understand.
The linguistic tricks that they do with those characters. There's linguistic tricks that are going on that are hilarious if you understand what they're doing. I'm just telling you.
You gotta have a high end.
You gotta have a high level of IQ to understand the rabbits.
I'm not saying you have to have IQ. I'm just saying you have to understand the linguistic tricks that they're pulling. The fact that they can have conversations where you can almost understand what they're saying. There's a reason for that.
Yes.
It's almost like it's like a language that you're picking up because it's using certain linguistic tricks that tie into English.
So I will point out.
That's fine.
No. I will also point out, but from a purely moviegoer experience, just my own personal biases, you can almost understand what they're saying means you can't understand what they're saying, and it's frustrating for me as an individual. Like, nah, I'll pass on the unintelligible gibber talk that is for children.
Well, I'm sure that Reinhold probably plays The Sims and can understand that too.
Yeah, he had Simlish. He probably understands Simlish. That's probably fair.
But yeah, is it a close dialect, Reinhold? You can tell us. The other thing, like that's for, like when you watch Bluey. So if you ever watch the children's show like Bluey, if you're an adult, you should watch just the eyes, and that's a whole different story that's going on. If you just watch the adults' eyes as they look and see and like roll and go off the, like, so it's to me, I find it hilarious, especially when like the adults will do something and just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they just did this. Like they had the dad's brother drops off their cousin without giving them a nap first, and then like bolts out the door. And if you see the wife's eyes just roll and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you just did this."
I mean that's what happens. You're like, Aussies just write stuff.
Yeah. Oh God. I do recommend, if you do enjoy Bluey, bypass Disney, buy the DVD straight from Australia. There's so much stuff crap they cut out. Just buy it.
They do censor a lot of stuff. There are actually a couple of straight up fully censored episodes.
Yeah,
or not even on Disney episodes of Bluey.
Yeah. I've got some of my neighbors who come like, "You've got the DVDs," and I showed them some of them. They're like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, I got it right here. Like, let's see what's going on. I show you. Yeah, you can watch them. You got Disney Plus. I'll play them back and back for you." It's so I just buy the DVDs.
It was a really weird episode. I understand why they took it out of the Disney set, but on the Australian DVD, the episode where they burned down a comedian's house.
Oh yeah, that one's rough. Yeah,
what?
You know about that?
They did not burn.
So no, there is a YouTuber. I want to say, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he did a lot of in-depth journalism into a lot of the corruption that's going on in the Australian government.
Yeah, New South Wales, the gambling capital of the world.
Yeah, and why it's that, to the point where the person, I believe it's the prime minister, there.
It was their vice premier, or
yeah. Like, he got somebody to step down from their political position because of how in depth and how much he was pointing out all of his flaws,
and also just mocking him. Bros.
And then he also was explaining why the current mafia was running all the gambling and affecting the government. And then his house got firebombed. Not just his neighbor's house got firebombed first. And they came back when they realized it wasn't his house and firebombed his house.
Oh, that's a coincidence. That's just a big coincidence.
And they had no suspects in who could possibly did it.
Then the guy he was reporting on, their equivalent of a lieutenant governor, was basically used his political power to put an anti-terrorism task force on this guy. Yes.
Wow.
For targeted stalking and harassment.
Because he was pointing out all of his flaws, all the things like how he put up like an Airbnb, and for his political home, he said as an Airbnb for people to live in.
No concerns that there's possible corruption. People who want to pay him off, picking his Airbnb and paying whatever price it is per night there.
Well, there is a reason the last time the British royalty utilized their power was in Australia. There's a reason for that. Okay.
But yeah, he was specifically targeted because he was doing in-depth journalism, pointing out massive flaws to the point where he got a political person in power to step down because of how much pressure he was putting on him.
Wow. I wish we had strong journalists at that here in the United States. That doesn't happen here. I wish we had something like that.
No, the only time I see that is in esports, and that's the most absurd part about it. the only times I see the in-depth, like actual in-depth reporting and caring is when it's in esports, and it has to be some guy in fucking Britain researching it himself. He's like, all right, here's what's going on.
we do have in-depth, hard-hitting journalists here in the States. Self-proclaimed prophet, Mr. Kendall, friend of the network.
Well, the problem is that it doesn't do you any good. I mean, if somebody come out with a big in-depth article about some politician, half of the people are going to say, "Yeah, we knew that. It's obvious." Blah blah blah, and the other half of the people are going to go, "Oh, you're just making it all up. It's all fake news." Blah blah blah. Nobody even reads the dang stories anymore. They just go to the headlines. So, what's the point?
Also, the other thing is knowing who the person is. So, like, the big example, that whole story I was talking about, there was a League of Legends player for an organization called Evil Geniuses. His name was Danny. His in-game name was Danny. And the whole thing is that he was having a lot of mental issues, and the organization pressured him to keep playing, even though he wasn't in a mental state to play, to the point where he was going to step down before the tournament happened. And they just kept forcing him to keep playing and keep playing. And when he finally broke down and basically couldn't go anymore, they forced Riot Games to change the rule on who could sub in as an emergency sub because he wasn't medically cleared to play. And because they didn't have both their sub spots were filled with coaches instead of actual players, they got Riot Games to bend their rules and let them add a player to their roster during a locked tournament of players. And then on top of that, when he got back to his family, he was 20 pounds underweight. He was hospitalized when he got back and was held in the hospital. And there were players saying they didn't want to play with him. There were coaches basically calling him the R word because he was autistic. And it's a massive spiral rabbit hole of terrible things that they did. And when there's a journalist named Thorin that a lot of people don't like his personality, but he's a really good journalist, and everything he posts the truth. So when he posted it, a lot of people didn't want to believe him. And then when another person, Richard Lewis, who also has the same issue, is that he never lies, but people don't like his personality because he tells people to their face when they're wrong. He posted an article with other different information than what Thorin had, and people didn't want to believe them. When a third party came in and aggregated both of their claims together, people were like, "Man, that organization is corrupt."
They just needed the right veneer on top of it so they can understand.
Right. And on top of the fact, when his article dropped, the player randomly, spontaneously released a statement saying that he's still a part of he's still under contract as now as a content creator, even though he had streamed during the time of his organization, the 2 years he was there, a total of 70 hours over the 2 years he was on the organization. He streamed 70 hours and he magically became a content creator for them with no announcement video, no graphics, no anything. And his statement was all like PR speech. So it was one of those things of people will listen to it, but not if you're the person telling it. And that's the issue a lot of times. If somebody has the right information and somebody ignores them because they don't like your personality. I don't like the fact that you call people the C word because you can, and because you're British, you don't care.
Yeah, there's a lot of words that some British people use, just like, oh, but just like that's our vernacular. Like, but over here,
use normally,
you can't stop saying that. It's like you keep using that word and you keep making me uncomfortable.
Use that word.
I know, like over here, when you use that word, it's just very uncomfortable. It's just we don't use it like that way. It doesn't roll off our tongues that way. Like, can you stop that, please? Anyways, what? No, this is a children's stream. Can you hear Ryan talking? I can't hear him. He must be muted himself.
Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah,
the dogs were barking. I said, what's that called in Britain? I was showing you.
Oh, no, I'm not. Whoa.
You see what I'm saying? They say it all the time because it's just what it is.
We can't because we're in America, and that is the one speech that is illegal on Twitch.
Yeah, the only word I could say on Twitch that the rest of you guys can't say is Twitch had a cable just supposed to
send your hate mail to.
Yeah.
Did we talk about my favorite joke that I heard recently?
Yeah.
So there's a comedian out, Drew Lynch. You probably know him. He was on America's Got Talent. He had
definitely not.
He had an accent where he stutters.
No sus point.
Now he's got like a brain thing. Huh?
Another sus point for Ryan. He's watching America's Got Talent.
Laughing at somebody.
No, I'm not watching America's Got Talent. I said,
and you're making us laugh at somebody with a disability. Wow.
No, it's you guys.
Get ready to suspend Reinhold. Get ready.
But the funny thing he said when he was talking about, words, people being upset about words, and people say, he's doing a whole bit. It's very funny, and he's like really pushing some lines. It was really well done. And then he started saying something about it can't be racist because if you use the A instead of the right?
Mm-hmm. And
everybody started, kind of going, ooh, with the joke he said, the way he said it, they were kind of like going, oh, that's kind of, I don't know if you're going to go there. And then he says after that, that's what we did. We just created 3/5 of a word. Now, that is one of the funniest jokes I have heard, and the audience completely over their heads because they were already puckered from the first joke that they didn't even catch that second one, and I thought that was one of the funniest jokes.
That is kind of funny. But you said that all I could think of was the Linus Tech Tips when he would just go like, and I just drop the hard R all the time, casual conversation. Can't stop mystery. Like, I don't think you think you're saying what you think you're saying. What? I've dropped the hard R. What word do you think you're using? What word do you think I'm using? The N word. Oh no, whoa. I don't use that word. I've never used it.
Refurbished, right? I mean, that was the word, right? It's the hard R.
I remember someone sent me that clip before the end was like, I just drop it all the time. And I was like, Linus. No.
I want to keep watching you say this, and so.
No, yeah. Say psych. Say in Minecraft at least. But no, yeah. And then Linus got hacked this week. I'm sure everyone was watching the Linus Tech Tips. Oh, do you want to talk about Linus's? I had to talk about my job made me bring it up in the meeting. Like, so what's going on with this Linus Tech Tip thing I saw? I'm like, crap. Yeah.
Why did they make you talk about it?
Because I'm the security.
The tech guy.
I'm the security. I'm the security manager. I'm the InfoSec. So they're like, you have to know. Yeah, I do know. But, like, how do we protect ourselves from that? Stop giving everyone admin access.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
Don't download.
Do all the things I've been trying to tell you to do for the past 3 years.
I'm still getting denied on UPCO keys. I've been trying to enforce UPCO keys. They're like, nah, why do we need that for? I'm like, okay, all right, that's fine. Let me
replay this Linus Tech Tips thing, and
I know it's just like, come on.
Watch this Mudahar video about the Linus Tech Tips hack.
Man,
it used to be you had to read CIO magazine as a tech guy to know what they were going to come ask you. Now you have to watch Linus Tech
YouTube. Yeah, YouTube Linus Tech Tips. Yeah, no, and then it's okay. And now I've got a lot of people who now they're wanting can we have an always on VPN? And I just sat there in the meeting going, yes, I've always wanted this, but everyone didn't want to pay for it. I think that's a good security thing. I'm like, awesome. This is great.
Now
I'm glad you thought of it. That's a great idea. We'll implement that.
Yeah, I know. It's just like
how Harry Inception did into his brain.
I know, cool. I'll get this going. You get a capacity plan on the servers, and we'll get.
Or what you do is they came up with that idea, and you're like, man, I don't know if that's really the right thing. I told you to do it, so you go do it. Okay, if you say so.
Right on that. Okay, right on that.
I'll do whatever you say. You sign the checks.
Here's the bill. It's going to cost this much. So,
well, I spin up Linux open VPN servers on my own, and then attach them to Active Directory servers. So it's actually really expensive for me. The expensive part is the bandwidth. It's that it's the because I like to route everything through it, instead of just stuff you need for network stuff like that. So it's that one person who gets on Netflix is just and forgets on the VPN and just chugging data. You know who you are, Reinhold. Reinhold's like, oh man, Harry's got this VPN server in Europe. Thanks, Harry.
Just because the VPN's up doesn't mean I'm letting you watch Netflix on it.
I know.
That reminds me of a story from back in the day. We were putting together like a client server environment with WinFrame before it became Citrix, and it was funny because we had people in San Francisco watching their bandwidth all of a sudden just pegged. And nobody could do anything. What is going on with the bandwidth, right? And we go look, and we had just installed Office 97 on the servers for them to use to open up Word and type documents and stuff.
Nice.
And if you remember, Office 97 came with this little new feature called Actors. So all these people open up Word, and they've got this little Einstein or Clippy or something else in the bottom right-hand corner just constantly moving around, creating screen draws constantly.
Oh, not on a 10, not at a 1000 network.
Terrible.
It was a 256K link. Everything was pegged hard, and there's nothing, nobody could do anything. We're like, what? So I had to go and I went on those servers and I ripped out every single actor file off that thing so they could never come back on again.
God, I forgot all about that. Oh man. 97, I was in 7th grade right now. So everything I was doing was local still. So
I was in my second marriage by that time. So anyway,
1997, I was 3.
Nice.
I was 3 years old.
You
in 97, I was 31.
Oh, sweet. Paul was 8, so you were in the 3rd grade.
Thereabouts,
Yeah. Ace. Where were you in 97? Christy, you too. Wow, man.
Oh boy, I can't wait to grow up in a era of unparalleled prosperity
and peace. Yeah. I remember some of those articles talking about that, like how like our generation would be the first generation to grow up in complete peace.
Yeah, the USSR had fallen in 91, and they were going into a more Western type of society. And it was all going to be great.
Everything was open. Like yeah.
And then grunge hit, and then it was all
in 97.
Let's go.
I blame grunge.
You can't blame grunge.
It came out right after the wall fell. That one then is like 92, 93 is when grunge hit.
You leave Nirvana alone.
Yeah. Oh man, so like the one good thing that came out of like some of like the Matt Taibbi stuff up there talking to Congress was talking about being in like the fall of Russia and the USSR falling, and then Putin taking power or something like that, and just talking about how like journalists was going missing, like people just going missing. It's just like, man, it's just like
so there's a podcaster named Bruce Carlson who I'm trying to get. We've had on the show before. I'm trying to get him back on. Just did a 6-part series on the fall of USSR. It's exceptional. I think everybody should listen to it because it really highlights a lot of the differences of what was going on and how they got from there. And it does lead into how they ended up with a Putin type of figure out of it. But one of the things he does go into is he talks about several of the journalists who disappeared. But what was funny was that he was talking about the day of the attempted coup and how they had this small window of perestroika where people were able to actually talk bad about the government in print, and then newspapers were flourishing, and then the day the coup happens, all the newspaper owners were like waiting to get shut down and arrested, and it didn't happen. and they were offended because they didn't get shut down. Like, haven't we been doing a good enough job talking about you badly enough that you're willing to come and shut us down? Well, what are we doing here? So they were just kind of like upset that they weren't targeted. But that was before I think some of those guys started meeting uranium poisoning and things like that.
Living a half-life. Brian, can you send me the link to that in the private chat, and I'll just drop it here, so people, if they, I can drop it in the chat. Yeah,
take me a minute because I closed my window because I was having issues. So.
Come on, Ryan. Come on, Ryan.
He closed one of his windows. That means he closed 7,800 tabs.
I know.
It was about 35 tabs or so, but my screen was having issues. So.
That's where all of his RAM went.
Man, so I was watching Level 1 Techs. I posted it, like they were talking about to get into their NAS build. I was like, hey, look, it's like Reinhold's getting ready to try to build a NAS. So it's like, this is great, like, because Window and Level 1 Techs is going to get a different thing. He made he made this beautiful if you have optical media, if you needed to back up your optical media server, which honestly, now I kind of want to dig back out. I was going to throw away some of my older cases that I have here that I'm like, oh crap, I may need those. I need those 5.5 floppy, not 5, but 5.5 bays to put in CD-ROM drives so I can back up optical media efficiently. So good thing I didn't chuck that. Didn't think about that because I was getting like 1s and 2s in my current machine. I was like, oh, that's going to take forever. Yeah. But if I've got like loaded all the way up to the kills, that's not bad now, but they was doing like different really neat local NAS builds for people who like NAS, network attached storage. If you don't have one, they're great for helping you back up data or just use it as a media server. Recommend you get one. It's amazing. It's an amazing piece of kit, especially if you have data that you need locally backed up or cached. And you can even have it. You can even set them up so you can back up your local NAS to the cloud. This way it's here locally, and then you can encrypt it locally, and then back it up in the cloud encrypted. It's an amazing piece of kit. I recommend one. Hopefully, like Reinhold is supposed to be working on his NAS hopefully shortly, and we can hopefully see, like Reinhold get his disk out of his machine, and so he's, doesn't have to run 78 tabs in one browser. So. Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah,
I like that.
Water.
I liked having 78 tabs in my browser. So, Paul, what have you been watching?
What have I been watching? Let's see. Well, I've been staying up on the release for the dub of Buddy Daddies.
Explain what that is.
So, in keeping with the genre of found families and cute kids that I discovered that I really wanted more of because of Spy X Family, saw Buddy Daddies, and it's basically two assassins in Japan happened across a child on one of their missions to kill a target, and their target happens to be her biological father. And her mother no longer wants her, which is why she was sent to go live with her father. And she never really meets her biological dad because they finish the job. And they can't take it upon themselves to get rid of this kid. So they are dealing with being completely out of their league in raising a child. So it's cute. I enjoy it a good deal, and it's a recommend from me.
That's good. How many episodes are out so far?
In English, 7 or 8.
That means probably ended this week or last week for the season in Japan.
Yeah, it's fully out in Japanese.
Is it 12 episodes? 13? 12. Yeah. There's a lot of anime that ends like this week.
Yeah.
Leading into it.
I mean, because for some reason they follow the 4-quarter cycle. It's like as soon as one wraps up, they were probably the one that was released a week early to
right, because a lot of those started like early, like the first week of January, and started ending now. And then I think the next season starts like the 16th.
Yeah, which I think sometime in April, I believe we're supposed to get the Konosuba spinoff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Megumin show should be coming out the next season. That the Megumin show, Witch of Mercury season 2, core 2, whatever they want to call it, that's also happening this season. There's a bunch of stuff that's coming out all at once at that time. It's going to be interesting because it definitely, you could definitely see that a lot of people didn't have a lot to watch this season. Like things came out, but there's a lot less variety of things.
Yeah, it was definitely a fairly sparse quarter. Other than that, I went back and I forced myself to sit through Restaurant to Another World both seasons.
I don't even know why.
Because I started it. It wasn't bad enough to not finish. It just was not for me. You know, there's only so much of the same trope every episode you can do, and they do it twice each episode of, oh, we're going to try this dish that's from the other world, which to the fantasy characters that are coming into the restaurant, it's Japanese food. It's all Japanese or maybe some American Western food, like burgers and stuff. It's like, oh, we have to sit here. One of my things that I hate most is watching people eat. Thankfully, they don't do like close-ups and stuff, or else I would have not watched the series. But second to that, in terms of I don't care, is in-depth descriptions of the food, flavor, mouthfeel, everything, which is what they do twice an episode. Is like, oh, the savoriness of the pork perfectly complements the rice, and together it's just stop. Can we please have some character interactions between the patrons? And they eventually sprinkle a little bit of that in the second half of the last season, but it's not enough to be interesting.
It sounds like it was a Food Network show. If it was in America, it'd be a Food Network show.
I mean, there's a reason I don't watch Food Network.
At least in Food Wars, they have a decency to have their clothes explode off when they eat it.
Well, and Food Wars, from what little bit I've seen, because again, it's a trope that I don't care for. I was there for the other world stuff because I'm a sucker for isekai and fantasy settings. But Food Wars, like, oh, there seems to be a plot because there's a war about this food.
Yeah, Food Wars is definitely more focused on the cooking aspect of it instead of the tasting aspect.
And I can watch a cooking show. Some of my favorite YouTube channels are cooking shows. Like, of course, Babish is out there, but Food Wishes, some of those channels I watch fairly regularly because I enjoy the process of cooking and I enjoy the results, or else I wouldn't be the hefty size I am today. But just listening to somebody describe food is the most boring exercise you can take in food, and like the thing I want least. And on that list includes the weird stuff Harry does with food. I would rather that be my food experience than listen to somebody describe the taste and mouthfeel of a food.
I don't do anything weird with food. Are you talking about like the seasoning that I do to it, or the prepping? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, Ace Goes Fighting Food On is a great food anime. It sure is.
That is true. It is basically Pokemon but with food.
Yeah, it's awesome, amazing. I wish someone would make a good AR game based off of that. So when you go to restaurants,
you take a picture of your food and you get special things.
Yeah, and you can fight at a restaurant, like look at other people who are playing the game, like what you order, let them fight.
Okay, yeah. I mean, nobody cares about fighting food-ons
It's like a 30 and 40-year-old show at this point.
So let's just license that and get Niantic technology, and we can
might as well. They do all the games that are AR.
All the good ones at least.
Yeah, and just let people fight it
because we'll need the computers for the AI that's going to scan what you ordered and pick out the
food that's close enough.
Which would be neat if you could get the restaurant on it. So like the chef who prepped it or whoever, like the kitchen staff who prepped it, they have a skill rating too. So they add to different whatever you have onto it.
The restaurants register. So like the restaurant has a skill thing you get from. So like you get fried rice from one place and fried rice from another place, and the power levels are different.
The power level, is so different. There's gonna be like some burger shack that's like all 5 stars. This is amazing. This is the best burger.
The EVs, the eating values.
Exactly. Yes. The IV's the intensity value.
I'm out here grinding at the buffet. Paul, please. Your blood pressure. Stop.
Your blood pressure is like you want to a barbecue in the ghetto.
Oh, man.
4 digits? Both numbers?
Is it even possible?
It's even further beyond. Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, I can't wait. I'll bring back Cuff next time. Next Friday. So we'll find out. We'll really find out.
No. I am not going to find out because finding out would stress me out and raise my blood pressure.
It does that opposite thing you want to do.
That's fine because we'll do. Once you see that and you'll freak out, we'll calm you down and then hit the button again.
Before we do that, I'm going to have to go on the most terrible detox of caffeine because I'm guaranteeing you that's a 30% reduction right there.
All right, you're fine. How about this? I'll just show up at 4 a.m. and I'll test you then.
While you're asleep?
You show up at 4 a.m. and you're getting shot.
It's okay. I have a key. It'll be fine.
There's no key to my front door.
I know, you just got to get past Freya. It's just real easy.
You tell her you have a treat, she opens the door for you. It's so easy.
He's too dumb to be bribed.
She likes fried spam with an omelet. That's your favorite?
What does Ace say?
Please save me from this.
I'd be using a KFC double down sandwich as my food on.
Oh god!
Ace. Oh my god!
Heart attack!
Oh god!
Heart attack tackle! What? Oh god!
Its grease rating is very high.
Oh man, it's a grease type.
Grease type. Chris Jabry goes, Vincent has all the keys.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. I showed him how to make keys by photos, and so all he has to do is see the key, and he can just make it. It's his quirk. Everyone's got a good quirk. That's his quirk.
How do you think I got in here?
I mean,
that'd actually be a good quirk, though.
Yeah,
we've all seen.
You become the ultimate rogue.
Yeah.
We've all seen the modern rogue. Mm-hmm. Please love us, Brian Brushwood.
Oh man, yeah, go, yeah, but yeah. So you guys were just talking about anime while I was
That's probably what he's been watching.
That's
he's complaining that he hates listening to people describe food, but he likes watching people cook food. So the show that he was watching was terrible because it was just people talking about how good the food tasted.
And beyond the fact that it's just 24 episodes of that twice an episode, there was like one half problem of, we don't have enough of that to make your order. That was the only thing. And then they found something else that they liked equally as good. And it's like, no, there's this many people in here. There's going to be a bad order. Somebody's going to send something back. Like,
no.
Just show me.
No.
Show me I want the Karen episode.
I've worked in a restaurant. This ain't it.
I want the Karen episode. I want it to be like this high elf that shows up and just starts bitching about every little aspect of this food, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Like, send it back. I said I wanted medium rare. You said you wanted rare. No, I said medium rare.
The fantasy elves don't.
Ace says, y'all be safe with the weather coming over. I'm back home, so I'm going to bed. All right.
Take it easy.
Yeah, good night.
We'll be safe.
But no, that's the thing. The elves don't eat meat, eggs, fish, or dairy. And it's like, okay, so you have vegan elves in your setting.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's easy. I go Gordon Ramsay on them.
He just ends up cooking them tofu. It's like tofu. Here you go, fucking tree hugger.
See, like, when is the episode where the meth addict shows up and demands food at the register? That's fancy world. The ether addict. This is This has to be more canonically accurate.
It's like I'm sorry, but
I pickle Rick, and they get on the counter.
truly a show for high IQ people. But no, like I don't know. It's disappointing to see something that could have been an interesting framing device for a series just be the safest, blandest possible thing for a series all about flavor. It was just bland.
Which is fair.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I've been wanting to think about watching that show, but like I was like, what could really happen if it was just a food, you know?
Yeah, it's like a guy makes food and then other people eat food and they say how good the food is.
Does he show you how to make the food?
No.
Oh,
not in the least.
I'm good.
That's what I'm saying. Like Food Wars is half of it is them cooking and making the food, and that's why it's interesting because they're battling as chefs.
Yeah. So my wife has been taking a lot of that time off this week and last week because Gumpy's been on spring break, and my wife is realizing that if there is cold rice in the fridge, which we have an abundance of now with the new rice cooker, that I just make fried rice all the time with leftovers. Everything, no matter what it is like, what do we have in there? It's now fried rice.
We're having this rib tip fried rice.
I'm telling you right now, the ribs. If you chop them up and throw them in some fried rice, it's fire.
I bet it is.
Little fish sauce on the top of it too. Oh my god!
And all the good boys and girls learned that if you leave a bowl of cold rice out, the Harry Price will come by and fry
it for you.
So we've been buying this local Indiana barbecue sauce called Who's Your Daddy, and it's got real sugar in it, so it caramelizes in the wok. Anything you coat with it. It's so beautiful. It's beautiful. When you just throw when you sit there tossing something in the wok, you just go like barbecue sauce. And first time my wife did it, she's like, barbecue sauce. Like, just let it happen. Just let the magic happen.
Just watch.
Trust me on this. She's like, oh my god. I'm like, yeah, right. Real sugar, it's a little caramel. Yeah, which not sponsored, but I do recommend it. It's they've got different ones, but we like spicy food, so we go with the spicy one. But the lime one, oh good man, that lime with some tahini. Oof, tahini. Oh man,
sounds like it feels like you're probably making a lot of fried rice as of late.
Yeah, I make a lot of fried rice.
Well, now that I have the rice, I'm not gonna let it go to waste.
Yeah. The only issue I don't use is my big wok all the time because it's massive. It's huge. It makes a lot of food, and a lot of the time, we just don't eat that much.
Right. So it sounds like just come to your house and if I want fried rice.
See, I thought about just having you guys come over one night just because it's easier for me to cook for a large amount of food. Especially on Sundays when I want something. I'm like, oh man, I want to make all this food because I want to eat these different foods, but I don't know if all these people would want to, come over and eat it.
You're acting like I wouldn't get off work, drive to your house and go pick it up.
Yeah, I need to get back on a restricted calorie diet and get back into losing weight, and meal prepping with fried rice has been one of those things I've looked at doing for myself. It's like, I'm not this good at cooking.
But the other issue is that you don't like food that like is more than like leftovers. You're not a big leftovers person.
It's a bit different when I actually do it intentionally and meal prep.
Do you want me to show you? Like, do you just want me? Like, do you want me to? We can do it like ghosts. Like, just stand behind you.
Well, there goes the idea of having Gary teach me anything ever.
Gotta do with your hips. Gotta put your hips into it. There you go.
Don't worry. I'll film it. It'll go on your OnlyFans. It's fine.
I am so glad that I didn't have to have him help me replace the ground cable or patch the flat tire.
It's like it's down there deeper. Boom. Got you now, Paul.
Oh, Harry, what are we doing in the garage?
Gets
that Harry.
Gets coat stuck. Oh no, it's stuck on the starter. Help. God, yeah. That'd be fun. No, I can like let's not try to get like I've been also trying to get my wife not to be scared of the cast iron too much. She just saves the cast iron for something good. I'm like, you cook anything in these cast irons. So like I showed her like she likes to use she's got like I got a flood skillet for her to make pancakes on, right? And she likes to do like with eggs, but she likes to load it up with pancakes and then come back with eggs. Like, let me show you something cool. Well, you're gonna take these 2 cast iron pans, I'm gonna put them on high heat, get them glowing hot red, they're just hot. Take them off, put them off here to the side, here on ramekins on the counter. You can sit here with your skillet, load it with pancakes, and just crack eggs on those. Those things are hot. They'll retain their heat, and you just make egg on it. Doesn't need to be on the grill all the way because eggs don't need to get that hot. It's just about it. Yeah, it's cast iron. It's not going to stick if they're seasoned correctly. If your cast iron is seasoned correctly, it's not going to stick.
That's fair.
Don't be scared. You can't hurt cast iron. You can't hurt it. You cannot hurt it.
You can, but it takes effort.
Oh yeah, and then Worcester walks too.
What? I don't put it directly in the dishwasher.
Okay, you can rescue it after someone has put it in the dishwasher. There's steps to rescue it. Just like woks, like most people don't see. I didn't season my wok all the way there until like someone like taught me how to do it. Like that's why like someone goes like, "Look like your wok got caught on fire." It's like, yeah, because someone I needed to season it. And I said, where I'm at, if it's not hot enough, you need to get like take thing on your grill, and I did. And ever since I did it, oh yeah, my wok is beautiful. I love it.
So, did you see the person who added like 30 plus layers of coating to their skillet? This guy went in and like after like the 20th layer of seasoning his skillet, it was a mere shine. It's like, yeah, it probably won't actually cook anything without cracking and needing to be completely redone, but
it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
My eyes.
It's so gorgeous. It's so beautiful. Ah, man. Oh, speaking of cooking, I just picked up a new thermometer because my old thermometer broke. So I got a new one from this company called Meter. Now, some of the YouTubers that I watch, like some barbecue YouTubers, have been using this one. They've got the big, expensive $500 one, but they're YouTubers. So I bought, but there was a refurbished one from the site for $50. I was like, you know what? I'll try it off. I don't want to buy. I won't spend on the money into buy into the system because I might not hate it because it is an ecosystem. And so I was like, all right, let me get one out. And I just got it. I haven't used it yet, but from playing around with it at the house, I am in love with it because it's got a good it's a prong where you stick into the meat, so tells you the internal temperature, and it's got a little bit outside. It actually tells you the external temperature around it, so not like just ambient in the grill or where it's at, where it is around it. So like I like to do like a infrared, like a offset cooking, right? Like so the charcoal's on one side and the everything else on the other, so the charcoal's here and the meat's on the other side, So like I would love to know what the temperature is actually where the meat's at. So that tell me that. Then it also got a good setting where you can set alarms on it as the temperature goes up because it's connected to it like a app. And then it allows me to. It also has like a when it gets to certain temperature you want, it estimates it. Keeps estimating based on the heat out externally and what it isn't currently internally. Gives you a good estimate. So you're like, oh, that's like 30, 40 minutes. Now, granted, I've got it myself, but it's neat to have the thing, give calculations for you, so you can tell you like, all right, I'm off, or by my experience, it's this, so it's
a way to just see it.
Yeah, I haven't used it yet. I plan on using it tomorrow, but it's gonna rain a whole bunch, so I think I'm just gonna prep something for Sunday.
That's fair.
Yeah. I've been thinking about doing like a whole. I've been wanting like to roast a whole chicken. I've been thinking about doing that. I've been wanting, but I don't know because most of the time when I do something big, it's usually like pork. So, oh man, I love pork. Oh god, so beautiful, so delicious. Oh god. I went to our famous Korean barbecue for St. Patrick's Day, and we picked out on pork.
It's only pork.
Oh god, we picked out on pork. Oh man, and they gave us an illegal bottle of soju. Was it made it even taste even better because it was bootleg stuff?
You mean a perfectly legal bottle of soju? That was their high-end version.
Oh, yeah, it was delicious and amazing.
Correct.
Oh yeah. Allegedly. Oh man, God. We ate so much freaking pork there, and then it was like these awful we kept drinking soju, got really trashed, and then we started making fun of these, like I usually do, making fun of people at Korean barbecue that is cooking like one piece of meat at a time. It is just sit there, just watching someone, just like they're going to be here all night cooking.
You're gonna need 4 fires to get through all their meat.
Man, there's been several times I've had tables that are doing that, and I've watched them, and they are just sitting there and I'm just drinking, and then like my meat come out, and you look at them and go like, throw it on all the way, and just stare at them. It's like, come on, just throw your meat in. We're cooking. Let's cook. I was like, you don't cook a bunch at home.
They're probably just like, this is the experience. You're supposed to put only a piece at a time.
It is an experience. You're cooking like some slow Japanese restaurant. This is Korea. Welcome to
Korea's a bunch of stuff. Japan is like, here's this nice cut, and you're gonna put it on here in front of you. There's a difference.
Yeah. Nice, and it's all like but that's the but there's also smaller portions, and it's different. It's different looking flavors. This ain't it. This ain't that. So it's fine.
What did Christy say?
Oh no. Let's see. Christy says plates out the back door. Oh. And then sounds dirty when Harry says it. Okay. It's always dirty when I say it.
It's fair.
But no, I'm really looking forward to use this. Oh.
Still there?
Yeah.
Arnold, are you there?
Yeah, I heard a dog.
I'm here. What?
Okay, that was weird.
Yeah, the dogs have a little fit.
Yeah,
so. That was weird.
It's the last 25 minutes has been pure chaos here. So just letting you know. And Harry, you missed it while you were gone. I brought in one of the puppies, which was originally started out. They were like this big, and this one now they're like huge. So she was like freaked out the whole time because she isn't. I guess she's camera shy. So
okay.
No, it was just weird because it stopped. The stream stopped on our end.
Just but I think it's just Vivaldi crashed or something like that. But I'm really excited with the meter app. I want to try it out. Even though like I don't have like the full ecosystem, I can't wait to play with it on a good piece of meat. Because there's another reason I haven't cooked a brisket in over a year because like my thermometer's broke and I need to get a new one.
Yeah, you didn't know.
I've been wanting to cook brisket
before you can make it.
I don't have a skill level to do a brisket without a thermometer. I don't have that skill level. I'm not that skilled. I can't look at it and go like, that's about right there. I can't do that. I'm not there. So I wish I was.
Based on how much tension when I poke it there is, it lets me know how done it is.
Yeah. I don't have that skill. You know, I do. Why? Well, how did we get on this food tangent? I just realized I almost started
Paul
going back.
I watched an anime entirely around
food,
based around food.
Oh,
while you were out of the room, yeah,
and
what he got onto.
And you came back in, we explained it, and then that's where we kept going on to.
And I just kept, about food. And then I just kept going.
Yeah.
Into food.
So I think I know the answer. I'll just ask Vincent's question to Harry. Like, what have you watched anime wise lately,
or just anything really?
You really didn't ask me.
Anime. I have watched lately. I think One Piece, Dirty Pair, Lupin the Third.
Yeah, he's watching old school. Dirty Pair. Was it classic Lupin?
Yes.
So like,
I'm trying to think of something.
The 80s.
I don't think I watched anything like newish in a while.
Were those all rewatches?
Yeah. Yeah, those are rewatches.
Not even adding to the list.
Yeah, rewatches.
Those are rewatches. Yeah.
Did you watch anything in general?
I've been watching for just general TV show. I've been watching a lot of Clarkson's Farm. I do enjoy that. Jeremy Clarkson from the Grand Tour. And then I have been watching a lot of video essays. Aiden Paladin's video on the what is it like the on victimhood, the clout of victimhood. I think it's a great one.
Yeah, I saw you posted the video. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, like that one. Great video. Let's see what else have I been watching or like cat my eyes stick to. I think I've just been reading. I've been reading a book called a girl named Samuel. I've been reading that one, which is like it's a different book. It came on like my Goodreads for. I was just like, you might like this book I've been reading, and it's I'm like
synopsis.
I'm like 3 chapters in, and I just like I don't know why they think I want this book. I am curious what the heck is going on. I'm bought into the story, but this is not my genre. It is historical fiction, and
okay,
and it's happening around like 1773 in the United States. We follow along with this girl who's orphaned, and she is under the ward of another family in town that has a bunch of kids, and she's helping the mother watch over all these kids. You know, and she's a bright kid and she wants to go to school, but it's like, you know, you can't afford to go to school, you know, so you're gonna try to take care of all these kids, which is neat because like the boys that she's taking over, they're bringing the schoolwork home for her to like educate there or stuff like that, and the pastor in town is helping her help her keep herself educated and even help her practice her handwriting. But like I said, and I don't know where the story's going. I don't know. I'm intrigued a little bit because, like, on a historical sense, it's kind of got my little twing because it's like it's talking about what's going in the events around 1776, but in a historical fiction aspect. But it's just like I don't understand this. Like,
like, do you even read historical fiction all the time?
No,
at all?
No, none. I think the closest I've got was historical fiction was an anime. Was the Cavalier Dayon? I think it was going to remember correctly. That anime.
I have no idea.
Yeah, when it comes to historical fiction, it is not my genre.
That is really random why that came up on your Goodreads.
But it said you would enjoy this.
You should check this out.
I don't know what I want to read, so I'll read that.
I guess this is it.
You know, and I was just like, and like I said, I'm in it. I'm just like, oh man, I don't know where it's going, and I kind of want to finish, but I also don't know where it's going, so I don't know like what am I walking into, you know.
Which is fair because I mean it is historical fiction, and you never know where that's going to go when it's historical fiction.
Correct, yeah.
Especially with the female main lead.
That's true. Yeah. So yeah. So it's like I said, it's completely like I don't know why this is in my list, but I'm halfway enjoying it. I should say. I'm kind of enjoying it. I don't know.
That is a glowing review. It's not my genre, but I mean, I guess.
I guess I'll just keep going.
I'm here.
It's not my genre, but I guess I'll finish it.
So Paul's strategy of watching those anime.
Yeah, pretty much. So what trash are you watching?
Oh, you're doing to me now?
Yeah.
Well, I took the yesterday off. So as I said, I watched Chainsaw Man, which I really enjoyed. Definitely, there's a lot of stuff to it that if you are somebody who likes films, and you can see a lot of cinematography and concepts used in films that they would use in the show to show different scenes and different things, aspects, like to show you how much they really love cinematography. Literally, the opening, the intro has a montage of the characters in different movies throughout like history. So like they had No Country for Old Men, Jacob's Ladder, like a bunch of movies. These characters are just in the scenes for these movies. They did Big Lebowski, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, like a large variety of different movies that they take inspiration from, especially with some of how they shoot some of the things. I don't get why people are complaining about the CGI at all, because it feels pretty seamless for a lot of the times where they're using it with the 2D animation.
People like to complain.
Yeah, obviously, but you can. It's unless you're looking for it, it's not as obvious as you think.
Everything I've seen of it, it's not as bad as Millipent's Studios. Like,
it's not as bad as almost anything.
Well, I mean, anymore, like CG and anime is getting really good, and it's like you can go for the traditional approaches if you want that effect, but a lot of it is just great at keeping characters on model,
right? And it's very well done. I think from like a filmmaker, like filming wise, that the shots that they do, some of the shots are very like they use some very iconic shots and scenes, and also it's hilarious to watch the juxtaposition of the main character whose whole motive in his entire, like, for the first like couple episodes after he is taken out from being an orphan, is to touch a boob, and that's his whole motive through everything. While you have this guy's like, I need to get revenge for my family that was killed, and I'm here, and I'm not gonna go to private or anything because I'm a public demon hunter, because that's the demon I want to kill. And he's like, I want to touch a titty. That's all I care about. And the issue is that he is so driven and motivated to do it. He has the same like conviction as the guy who wants to kill the guy who killed his family. And it's one of those weird things of watching this character do things that they're just absurd and high level. Like, he is fighting a demon when he only has one arm and only has half of his chainsaw ability, and he's just, I'm doing this for my dream, and my dream versus your dream, my dream will beat yours. I don't care, because I just want to touch a boob. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with this character?
Touching boob is nice,
right? It's
not gonna lie.
It's very interesting to also watch the cast of characters around him adapt and form to growing as people, because they're affecting each other in positive ways. Of like the character who wants revenge for his family, Aki, his whole thing is that he's very strict and by the books and doesn't care what anybody else says, and hates Denji the first time he meets him, to the point where he punches it. Denji's the main character, to the point where he punches him in the face and knocks him in the trash and throws a cigarette at him and spits it on it to put it out on him. He's like, if you're here for stupid reasons, get the fuck out of here. So I don't care. I'll tell her you ran away.
And that's the Chainsaw Man.
The guy who got beat up, it's Chainsaw Man. Yeah. But the guy who turns around to walk away, Denji, the main character, kicks him in the nuts, like a lot. He's like, that's the difference between you and me. When I'm fighting a man, it's nuts or nothing. And proceeds to just keep hitting him nuts over and over again.
Low blow, no.
Kicks me in the dick.
He keeps kicking me.
Yeah, he does until he passes out.
Oh god.
You know, and you said they all affect each other in positive ways, like you know, Power, the half demon female. I'd say main female
Is the
One of
best
the
girl
two.
in the series?
Some people think so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she positively affects the actual best girl, Kobini's car.
Oh my god, it's so terrible. Basically, there's a character named Power who, to understand how this character is, the writer of the mangaka took inspiration from Eric Cartman to make the personality of this character from South Park.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he took the took the concept of Eric Cartman and put it in this demon. There's really a point where they're trapped in this location. Everybody's freaking out. And she's trying to figure out how to get a Nobel Peace Prize so that way she could take over as prime minister and enforce 100% income tax. That's her character. That's to understand how insane this being is. And when you first meet her, she doesn't really care. She just wants to kill things. And she eventually starts to understand, how actual humans interact with things. So she's mostly a demon. And them interacting with each other building themselves up to be better people. Like one of the first interactions she has with Denji is that she kills a demon that she wasn't supposed to kill, and then they get in trouble. And she goes, "It's his fault. It's all him. I blame him. He told me to do it. He's the worst person." He's like, I why would I do that? It's like, I don't lie. Only humans lie. It's a human flaw. I'm not a human. I don't lie.
It's a human flaw. Okay. All right.
So, and also the action is very well done. It's very they use everything they have on screen and every possible thing they have. And at where the season ends is a very solid spot to end. But since I read the manga, I know when the next season happens, this is going to be more batshit insane, because the narrative, once it hits about episode 8, is just pedal to the metal, all action, everything's going, all plots happening at all times. It's got to the point where the community dubbed it Chainsaw Man pacing, because of how fast paced and how much stuff they're just throwing in there, and everything just gets escalated more and more massive, and there's more little hints of things. And why does this character do this? Why are they doing this? How are they doing that? What's this mystery here? What they're just building everything on top of each other in this massive stack of stuff that's all going to come crumbling down.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
would recommend.
Do they cover the car or no?
Not in the first season, no.
Okay.
Not the first season. There's a meme where there's a character who is this anxiety-ridden character who's literally, her name is Kobene, and in the plot she literally says, I had two choices. I could either be a demon hunter or a porn actor, and I chose the demon hunter because I didn't want to do porn, because her parents doesn't care about her, because her brother's the golden child, and they use her money to pay for his college.
Oh my god.
So there's a point where she actually gets her bonus from the job and gets a car, and Power gets in the car and crashes it immediately.
Oh my god.
But the internet, when that first happened in the manga, loved the car to the point in the popularity poll, the car rated higher in popularity for characters than Kobene herself.
Oh wow.
Like the car had a higher rating for the fans than the actual character in the popularity polls.
We love the car. The car's great.
That is like one of the weirdest things to me, is knowing that these different properties do polls.
Yeah, they do popularity polls to understand what people like with characters.
Yeah, it's
part of serialized fiction.
I have never heard of a Western outlet doing that.
I mean, there's a lot less serialized written fiction in the West. Like in Chainsaw Man was in Shonen Jump, which comes out monthly,
right,
or weekly sometimes. It comes out weekly, so there's every week You get one episode, one chapter. So if you've been going for a year, assuming you add in the breaks, because they usually breaks for like Golden Week and other things and things happening, they wrote like 30, 40 chapters, and then there's a break, and now you're at a point where do I want to move the narrative forward now? You do a popularity poll, which characters do people like, and you know which ones to use more or which ones that people care about. So like if you want to drop an anvil on them and kill them, rip their hearts out more.
Yeah. They'll stop reading if we kill this character.
Yeah, they'll stop reading to kill, or like if there isn't a justification for why we killed this character, they will hate us.
People really love this Shishomaru. Let's add more Shishomaru.
Basically.
People love.
I did hear that there was a manga or anime, I don't know which, but it's basically one page or one chapter a year is the name of it. It literally only releases once a year. They release a
Hunter x Hunter?
Like a chapter.
Well, you're being serious, Reinhold, and I think that's really cool. The joke is that Hunter x Hunter has been on hiatus for like 10 years.
And it came back.
For like 2 chapters. It went immediately back on hiatus.
I'm sorry to any Hunter x Hunter fans out there. That was rude. I shouldn't be attacking your weak points.
Exactly. Steelman their hiatus, not Strawman their hiatus.
But for more,
that hiatus is ironclad. I don't need to Steelman it here. No, and that's, going on hiatus is one of the worst things that a mangaka can do.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when they're burnt out and they need time, but they don't want to stop.
Well, for Hunter x Hunter and a few others that I can think of, it's not even about being burnt out. It's literally about like, I cannot physically do the job of sitting at a desk even and writing and illustrating this.
But that's a whole other massive issue with the short turnaround, the short deadline, and then the lack of pay. They don't get paid a lot of money.
And then understanding that if your show is really popular, they're never going to let you end it. I think the best thing that ever happened was like when Yu Yu Hakusho ended. They're not going to let that ever happen again.
No,
you ended the show,
right? That's why like Chainsaw Man was very interesting because Chainsaw Man ended right, and where it ended, it says end of part 1, and then they started up again now, where it's set after all the events that happened with Denji and stuff happening with him.
Yeah. Which, if you haven't watched the end of Yu Yu Hakusho, I recommend it. Go. Yu Yu Hakusho. Watch it.
It's one of those things that it's always great that when things have an ending, but you also want them to have enough time to get their plot in before they get an ending.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where there is a hard like bouncing line that a lot of things will get canceled before it gets its narrative done. So they have to force and finish their narrative really quick. Or they last too long because their story has already been told and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So they just keep adding more and more and more stuff.
Yeah. But there's something, But with Yu Yu Hakusho, like I think when they add like movies and stuff like that, it's really neat, And I like the characters, like
but their base narrative is done. The manga is done. It's complete. When you look at something like Dragon Ball had an ending. Dragon Ball Z had an ending. And then Super happened, and Toriyama is like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then he gave it to somebody else.
Oops.
He literally took his manga and was like, all right, I came back because I was annoyed about Dragon Ball Evolution. I made a thing. They won't let me stop making the thing.
They won't let me stop.
Fuck.
Correct.
Here, hand it off. I'm stepping away. I'm not writing any more manga for this.
It's all yours. What? Toei. All you want. It's all you want.
Right, and luckily that the person they got to replace him was already working with him in the Super manga and was already a massive fan of Dragon Ball before he took over. So that's always a plus.
Yeah, that's why superhero.
It has its pitfalls, but
it does. But he went back to Namek again in the manga after he handed it off. He went back to Namek.
Like I get it, like Toriyama himself like ran out of ideas and just did the thing over again and over again. But boy, going back to Namek, that's a bold move. Oh wait, no, it's entirely safe.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta understand, stuff got real in there. Ick. All right.
Namek. God damn it. But
you weren't there. You weren't in the fields.
Stuff got real in Namek the first time.
Yeah, it's true.
and it was a narrative high point for the series.
They jacked up Vegeta's hairline terribly. Like, Frieza pounded it back into shape, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's
I found
one of those. Oh, go for it.
I'll say I found the title of that. It's called a manga world that gets one page a year. Gets a page once a year.
It's a page.
They just had like their fifth. Yeah, I think it's like their fifth page was released like this week.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not great at all.
Well, what the heck?
But what's funny is that the one page I found where somebody was linking to it, because it's like an updates page of stuff that's coming out from manga, and it just says description. At least it's consistent.
Yeah. Accurate. True statements.
Gives himself an entire year to work on it. Fucking misses the deadline.
Yeah, it's one of those issues that come with the fact of, for a lot of popular manga, for like the weekly books, you have a week. You have a week to do it. You have this very strict deadline to put it out, and how that takes a toll on your mental and physical health. That's why Oda's only been able to keep writing One Piece so long, so he keeps taking breaks. He takes a lot of breaks. There was a point where, like, over a year, he released 6 chapters or something. It was something absurd of low amount because he kept taking breaks and hiatuses for his own mental health and physical health, which is fine, which is totally awesome.
Yep, takes
it's
breaks.
Always better for them to be alive.
Threatens the studio. That's where, like, the big books, he threatened the studio once a couple of times to give out the earlier books of One Piece for free to kids, so kids could enjoy his story. If they didn't, he would just end the series. Like, I will end this series.
It's also the most popular manga in Japan. One Piece is massive in Japan. It dwarfs almost anything else in Japan, which is crazy.
Yeah, because it's an amazing series, but it's also been going on for so long. I was a kid when I first started.
I think it's 20 years.
Yeah, I was a kid when this. I remember originally watching the 4Kids dub.
Yeah, with the boot. Yeah, the boot gun.
The boot gun and the darts gun. And the lollipop instead of the cigarette. Okay. All right. That's how long this is.
Yeah.
So
it's been around for a long time. And the fact that there are people that still love it, and the fact that he's able to keep it going and take breaks and not drop in popularity, it's incredible.
Yeah. And I'm enjoying it because, like, right now I'm going rewatching because let my wife and my daughter watch at the beginning of One Piece because I've watched the movies and my daughter has came in and have me, like, she was watching like a Red and stuff like that. She just wanted to know where all these characters, she's like, what is this? I was like, it's One Piece. You want to watch it? We start the series, and she's impatient. She wants Chopper. She wants she wants to know where everybody's at. I'm like, they're coming. We have to get past all this.
Yeah. You have to get past the first 85 episodes in order to get to the first bit of plot.
Which I think I might actually go and actually pick up the One Piece manga because to get her to help practice reading. So it's she go for One Piece because I also been reading The Hobbit with her too. So.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is you do need me to put in on that U-Haul 14-foot truck that was for sale, so that you can pick up the manga.
All the mangas.
I was just gonna get the books, the thick books.
The books.
The volumes.
Yeah, the volumes.
No. That's a lot of volumes. There's 1,000 chapters here. It's a lot of volumes.
That's several. That's a bookshelf by itself.
I know.
They're like in the 200s in volumes or something.
So I did take a glance at the first chapter of that, the first page of that comic, and it's literally the two characters talking about the creator thinking, probably thinking this is great. I can have all this time. He's like, don't you believe he's probably just regretting it already, coming up with this idea? And it's just them talking about. I have so much more to say, but we don't have any time left. I'll see you next year.
I mean, he's consistent, which is fair.
I appreciate the meta humor.
Yeah,
It is. It looks pretty funny. I'll have to read the next 3 chapters. I think that's out.
That's fair.
No,
put that down. Get caught up on. It's something you can get caught up on.
Put that down.
Yeah, I can keep pace with this. I don't feel like I'm going to get behind or lost or anything.
All right, actually do this right. Hold. Okay, go put up your Spotify. Okay, all right. Type in Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. Enter. Okay. All right. Listen to that all next week. Just listen to the soundtrack.
I mean, he probably would really enjoy the soundtrack. I'm
telling you,
if I'm gonna be honest with you,
the soundtrack bangs.
I mean, yeah, Tank is one of those songs.
Very the seatbelts are just the jazz and it's so good. Jazz rap. But it's the issue with a lot of the manga stuff is that it's because of the strict timelines, and the other issue is sometimes I get upset because it's like, oh, we're a monthly series. Like, I don't want you to be a monthly series. I need to know what's happening next week, please. Because you've left this on a cliffhanger, and it hurts me in my soul to know that this is a cliffhanger I have to wait a month for, if not longer.
Well, I mean, at least you get updates.
True. At least I'm not a Hunter x Hunter fan. It's true.
Well, Hunter x Hunter, Somali and the Forest Spirit,
3x3 Eyes.
Yeah,
Berserk.
That's getting chapters, sir.
It's
getting done.
Chapters, but is it getting the?
He has the ending. He gave him the ending.
Sure. Yes, he has the ending. That's great. It's still
not the same. It's not the same.
It's not going to be the same.
It's fair.
3x3 Eyes. I have seen. Actually, now that you said, I remember it. Yeah, I remember seeing 3x3 Eyes in the 90s. And I remember actually liking it. I don't remember anything about it, but I kind of remember actually liking it.
Yeah, there we go. Right home.
Oh my God.
But
so you've seen it, right?
Which one?
3x3 Eyes.
I've seen some of it. Not enough.
How am I behind Reinhold on this one?
Yeah, Reinhold, exert your dominance.
Isn't it 30 years old?
Yeah, probably.
I watched it in the 90s, early 90s.
Old, and it's not even finished.
87 to 2002.
Yeah.
But I will
the comic book I like the most, and it's probably gonna. So, do I want to save it for honorable mentions before I talk about it now?
I mean, it's up to you.
We're
gonna do it in like 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, it's honorable mentions. You want to go back over something?
Yeah.
This is a comic book called Cerebus that I think is literally one of the best comics ever made.
I've never heard of it.
It's about an aardvark going through a journey through hell. It's hilarious. It's meta. It's supremely meta. Sarcasm everywhere. It's taking swipes at everything, but it doesn't do it in a fake humor. It's not like an over-the-top Deadpool type of swiping. It's very much more subtle and sedate, but it's at one point through part of the chapters, the aardvark character Cerebus is walking around with Groucho from the Marx Brothers kind of character, and it's hard to explain without actually watching. But he says it's going to be this many chapters, and that's it. And he did all of it, and he got to the end, and he says, "I'm done," and he left, and he's left it. But it's like a couple of 100 episodes or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah. So
Reinhold, really, a couple hundred. Apparently, it's a 300 issue series. Started in 1997 till 2004.
Yep.
Classic.
It's very good. Dave Sim, that's his name. That's the author's name. Yep. Genius. Loved it. Right. I have several episodes, several issues myself sitting around here.
Yeah. All right. So now that we've crept into the third hour of the show, I'm for one am getting tired. Who's up for closing down early tonight?
It's just, I mean, I'm not going to tell you.
I didn't have to drive in, and I don't have to drive home, but I'm severely exhausted. So
I'm gonna tell you either way. It's up to you. I'm here to keep talking and whatever, because I will keep talking.
Yeah, I won't do what I did to you to Monday night, Harry, where I kept you talking for an hour and a half after the show.
and
oh god, I was so tired.
If all goes according to plan, we'll be doing this in 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah,
for the honorable mentions.
Yeah, try to get it all.
By the way, Harry,
what
the issue I started talking to you about on Monday night?
Mm-hmm.
I got a message that morning, so I don't know if you said anything or not.
I'm glad you probably like it, started to move. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, but
no, I haven't heard from Bruce because I think Bruce thought I ghosted him, so he hasn't got back with me. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, make sure you apologize and just try to explain the situation that's going on. It's dear leader is
it'll be fine.
He needs he needs someone to manage him. He needs a manager. He needs a manager. He can be the boss, but he just needs someone to manage. That's what he needs. But everybody needs somebody that way. Everybody
needs somebody. I've heard a song like that.
I wish
everybody needs
some sort of song like that. How could I put this? Now it's like Ryan and I just was talking to Vincent earlier before the show started. We were talking about this one YouTuber name is Moast Crittal.
Oh god. Or Penguin Zero.
Pen Ugiz null.
Moist critical.
Pen Ugiz null.
Nulls.
Anyways, and he was talking about how the FDA is battling against some of the food processors for using the term healthy on certain cereals, and they feel that it's going against their First Amendment rights, to put what on the box that they want. So I find it as a very interesting topic and a very dangerous topic too, because the other thing I do want to talk about, like one of these Mondays, is just the rules and laws that goes around with talking with food. Especially, which always sticks in my mind is when Oprah jumped into doing food stuff. But Randall, you probably remember this more than anyone else, is that when Oprah said like the wrong thing against like the food corporations and just got get sued to oblivion, she had to settle. Do you remember that?
Don't really remember that, no.
Oh yeah.
I can see it happening, but yeah.
yeah. She's like, you can't have this food. This food's bad for you. Blah 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 blah. And they just say you can't do that. Yeah, because there's all this special slander and like special rules we're talking around food, and there's several different cases about this of people going like, hey, you don't eat this, eat that, blah 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 blah, saying things, and they get slapped with lawsuits. It's
false advertising and stuff like that.
Yeah, just slander, different slanders, or you're causing a panic because that's a food staple. You're causing a panic.
I have a solution for all of that, but
it was the Texas beef industry. Thanks, Christy. Christy remembers.
Yes, yeah. I remember that. No, I think now she said, I remember that now.
Yeah, good old Christy.
That was the beef industry. I remember the beef industry going after some people in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it was in the 90s. Yeah.
Man, who would have thought they'd have beef?
Remember Rush Limbaugh talking about it?
Really?
Okay, can you remove him from the stream in person? How that works?
Just beat him.
Just throw him across the table.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Paul, can you write a note for me to beat you later? Pencil that in for me.
Make sure you know half to death, not full to death, half to death.
Nah, I'm gonna edit that.
Yes. I meant as a term of keep clicking that just keep popping up there, doesn't it? Just like Christy, I bet it's it's like almost said the something worse. Had to pull
it's a term of endearment.
Yeah, it's a term of endearment, and I almost said something else. Yeah.
See, and that's how you get your hot key. Your hot tub key revoked.
I know. I'm getting ready to lose all hot tub privileges here.
We're gonna have a hot tub stream, yo. You have to stand on the outside.
Sit on the outside.
You have to stand on the outside.
Harry lost his privileges. He can't get in the water. No. Yeah. So yeah. I thought about just bringing that up on a Monday night episode. I think it'd be neat to go through. I think it's a lot of to me. It's a lot of fun.
I know when, so I can take some time to really research it to have a solid discussion about it.
Oh yeah,
man, it's been a long time since we've invoked the research skills.
Well, I gave last time I gave time and a video, actually linked to a video that we're going to talk about for research purposes. Someone on the podcast didn't do any of that research, and then the other person just slipped through it.
Yeah,
didn't show up at all.
See, I was banking on that he would have a lot to talk about cars because honestly, personal opinion, cars from point A to point B, and that's all I care about.
That's why I gave the video for you to watch.
And even if I watched it, I'll be like, cool, car gets me to point A to point B. That's all I care about.
That's like me saying, oh, these comic books have good pictures in them. I like the pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and some people, that's how some people see things.
Chris goes, Christy says, if you arrive unannounced, I hope you're good at chemical testing or burn your skin off. I'm actually very good at chemical testing.
I'm excellent at burning my skin off.
See? Bring both.
See, we're on top of it, Christy. It's all good.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I'll have you know, it just wasn't in my category of things I care about. So I didn't invoke full research into it because it's like big car. I'm like, cool. There's a lot of things about these cars that I don't care anything about. He's like, oh yeah, it's this engine versus this engine. I'm like, the engine go vroom?
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. Damn, dog, that's crazy. Oh man. Oh, it creates potholes. Oh, that sucks, bro. Oh man, that's the level of interest I have. To be honest.
Yeah. Well, we're getting a lot of good feedback from the episode, even though
even though it's just you and me, and me basically being the Watson.
Well,
and dear leader,
because it was just you and him.
Yeah. And dear leader does hate low key. He hates us. He hates our consistency. He hates that we have fans that love us. He hates it. He wish he had our love that we get from people.
So in order to generate more hate, please message him or email him at editor@wal.com and let him at wearelibertarians.com, I think.
Yeah.
But let him know how much you love Loki and how much it means to you that we're on this network.
We're
the
here.
Best show.
Yep.
Every time you
say
every
Monday.
Thor, every time you say Loki, I keep thinking of Thor.
You forgot to hit the low key.
Like, season 2 out already? That's good. That's all right.
Oh, man, you guys are terrible. All right,
you ought to lean into it. That's what I'm saying. But that's
would you want me to get like
low key?
Get a horn?
Get the horn.
Get the horn. Or we all just dressed up as different versions of low key? Is that what you want?
Yeah, all the different variants. You saw the series, right?
Only if Rhino has to be the girl Loki.
Yeah.
It's much more fun this way.
Yeah, it's more fun that way.
I don't know. Get me canceled in 15 states. I dressed up like a girl.
Only if there's kids present. This is a mature stream, so you'll be fine. You should be safe. Yeah. All right. So let's go and start wrapping this show up. Okay. All right. Right, you can't send me stuff like this to have to read while I'm trying to do stuff.
Sure, you can. I can read it if you want. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, Christy said I enjoy the low key Friday variant. So do I. Let's see. Chris's mind will be blown with the hot tub episode. Yeah,
it's the best episode.
Yeah. Sometimes, I do in my heart of hearts, I wish we could do this every Friday, but we can't. We can't do this every Friday. I wish we could, but we cannot.
I mean, some of us could, but
barely do it this Friday.
Some of us could because we don't have social lives,
but not all of us can, right? Right.
I mean, two of us physically at the table could, and then one person could depending on the schedule. The other one has a kid, so that kind of affects their schedule massively.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm getting to it.
Not every Friday. No, not
keep me busy.
No. Got too many things. I mean, and we all have things. We all have things. A lot of all things.
Paul has depression. I have depression. It's the same.
I got this.
You want to just do 4 hours?
Just do it on Friday. Show up here on Fridays anyway.
You've already made a key, right?
Yeah, but I need to get a copy of his laptop first.
You can get a clone copy then.
What the heck? Anyways,
what do you think that device has been running over here the whole time the show's been running? It's copying that data.
Just copying my keys.
He's mailed a laptop to my house for me. He's been copying. He hacked into your server and copied.
Well, I do feel like putting the StreamYard key on a HTVM that's sitting here at the stream house. So all you really just need to do is to be able to remote into that machine to create the stream link, and then you can just attach in just like this is. To be perfectly honest, this thing doesn't even it just need one machine connect to it, and then just allow everything else to connect. That's all it is. Like you said, there's 10 different ways we could do that. Just a machine that has a key, we can not know the password. Just the machine does it. Makes it very easy. Yeah, but it's over here. I'm gonna start wrapping. I'm gonna wrap up early. I'm getting tired. I can feel it. And Reinhold's getting tired too. So,
do you have anything you want to say, Reinhold? Final thoughts?
So, in the beginning.
Oh, no, it's too long.
No, I'm just no, it's been a fun show. That's all I'm saying. Good times.
Yeah.
I can't wait till next year when we actually do the final 9x9. Next April.
We're finishing
next month. Sir.
We're finishing in April. We're finishing this thing out.
I said April 2024. It'll be great. It'll be a good time.
Finishing.
Yeah, it have to end on a year divisible by 4.
Get your honorable mentions in.
We gotta wait till Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out before we can finish it.
Is that you trying to put that in your honorable mention?
Yeah, I want to put that on honorable mention, so I gotta wait till for it to come out before we can do that. So.
It could go on there without it being out. I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Retroactively added in.
Yeah, just retroactively. We'll just cut into the episode. Yeah. Oh, that'd be a fun episode to do next year. Reinhold, you should get the time machine background.
I get a TARDIS background.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We all get different time machine backgrounds. We'll do it on a Monday to go back in time. We all pick a time machine.
I get the phone booth. The
Oh, you're gonna do
Bill and Ted phone booth.
The Wild Stallions. You and Paul in the Wild Stallions phone booth. That'd be fun. You know. Man, what the?
Yours obviously.
I would have to do the original.
DeLorean.
Circles.
I don't want the DeLorean.
Why not?
As much as I like AMC cars, I never liked the DeLorean.
I don't like it. It's too good.
I like this. I always like the side doors. The doors coming up was always interesting. I think it'd be a pain in the ass after about the first day and a half of doing it. But I think it's a very interesting, cool concept.
Now my brain. Okay. All right, I'm not doing this right now. My brain's racking right now to think of cool time machines I want to do, and I want to think of something because TARDIS is easy, but it's predictable. And some people would want it, and I'm not doing that. Of course, it would be fun to dress up as the Doctor of the Day, especially my favorite Doctor. The one, who. Anyways, Paul, any thoughts?
Not a whole lot. I'm just really looking forward to the rest of the year for new releases. The stuff that's rumored for ReZero getting season 3 is, they say it's in production right now, according to the rumors, and it's supposed to release later this year. We're getting 2 helpings of Konosuba. And, maybe some of the licensing issues will get resolved around Tanya, and we'll get the movie and season 2 of that released this year. It's looking like a very good year for somebody who likes trash isekai.
Nice. And hopefully we can get your sandbar this year, so you can, be your own truck coon, drive around.
That is the draw for me, like looking at used U-Hauls and wanting to purchase them, because if you just leave it on neutral and run to the bottom of the hill, you can isekai yourself.
Oh my god! In Minecraft. All right. Britson, any final thoughts?
It's fun. It's great to just talk about stuff in general. You guys should watch Chainsaw Man, just in general. Especially Paul, because I gave him the timestamp to skip the thing he hates. And don't forget to ask your wife who to do your taxes for you.
Oh my god! Everyone wants their wife who to do their taxes for them.
They got pulled from Steam, by the way.
Did it?
Oh yeah, it got pulled from Steam like immediately.
I don't know why. That's probably, maybe it was a scam, stealing people's socials.
Well, it did ask for your social security number in it.
Yeah, it's probably, it was like
Ryan, there was a game where somebody made a dating sim that was to help you file your federal taxes.
Honestly, it might get people to
as they're saying,
do their taxes.
Make a resume builder that's a waifu that walks you through it.
Yeah, resume builder.
But immediately it's like, no, that's the feds. They're going after us because of the tax evasion anime girl memes.
Get contracted with the military. Now get them to go through deployment all the way through. Get them signed up.
Like, how much you paid me? like we work on capitalism here.
hey, kid! I just want you to know, if you sign up, I'm a military recruiter, and we're allowed to lie to you. But DARPA's making anime real.
I know Space Force. And I'm saying like that. Space Force probably got me in like high school. Like, we may have Gundams. They have Gundams. Yeah.
So bring it up like a most random anime bullshit. Need people to enroll. It's like, yeah, if you enroll, we give you your own special gun that shoots magic.
Ooh, magic, yeah. Which magic's real, and we have it.
You see this show? It's called Tanya the Evil, where you get this magic crystal that lets you fly.
We heard that there's oil in other dimensions. We've been hitting recruits with trucks to send them there.
All right, so we have a question for the chat. It's like, our military recruiters seriously allowed to lie? That's terrifying.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, sure, kid. You can be a pilot.
Yeah, they do say that.
Gotta do a whole lot of cooking food, though.
Yeah, they do say that. Yeah, that's how you get when people are like, I want to go, because like they say they could do all these cool things like that, and the recruiter has no idea what you're going to do. They're just giving you the test and they're giving you off. Yeah. Someone's going to assign you a task.
As a veteran, I can attest to the fact that the recruiters can and do lie.
Yep, there you go. So let you know when they tell you.
They used to have this thing called the buddy program. You can join up and with another person, and they would sync it so you guys would go through boot camp together, you go to A school together, blah blah blah, the fleet, whatever, so that you could go in and have a friend, and that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
in actual practice.
Yep,
I'm surprised they wouldn't have actually done that, because that sounds like some emotionally manipulative stuff, like, oh, you don't want to abandon your buddy, stuff to keep retention higher.
Once you sign the paper, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they do what they want. Yeah, once you
take that oath. I guess technically, once you take the oath, that's what.
Yeah, once you take the oath,
I was told is like, this is the last chance to back out.
Yeah, once you take the oath, that's it.
Tricks on you. I just mumbled it.
I said it wrong on purpose.
Close enough. Well, see, like Obama messed up when he was signing in, and he didn't say the magic words right, so he didn't become a magical president of the next day. That which is true. He didn't say the magical words correctly on the magic spell book. Reinhold knows what I'm talking about.
That's some deep cuts right there.
Well, the reason he didn't know is because he was not from the United States. Right?
Oh my god!
Oh no! Reinhold, stop!
Stop!
God damn it, Reinhold. Anyways, try to end the episode. All right, my final thoughts. Really, I don't know. This weekend, if you get out, get out, get cooking, clean your grill out. Make sure you use a good degreaser on your grills. Clean them up. Grease fires are no joke. They're not fun. They make your food taste awful and gross. You got two different ways to get rid of the grease that's dripped into your grill from all last year that you never cleaned up. So the spring, clean it, please. But if you don't want a good big massive fire and just burn off all the grease, does the exact same thing. So
it smells pretty cool.
Oh yeah, just big massive fire. It's
coming
great.
from known arsonist Reinhold.
Known arsonist Reinhold.
I'm just waiting for it to not rain. I can get out there and get a nice fire going.
Oh man,
I got things to burn.
How do I edit his name to known
arsonist
Reinhold? Sources close to Reinhold says allegedly may be an arsonist. All right. That's it. If you haven't made it this far in the episode, especially this one, and you have listened to this as a podcast on your packet, on whatever you listen to on the podcast feed, not listen. This was a live recording that we did on Friday night, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do these once a month right now. And we like to do a good long form hangout session, and just have some fun on a Friday night. Most of the time we get together on a Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a live show. Come hang out with us. Those chats that you've heard us read out through the episode, hey, those aren't super chats. Those aren't people paying us money. These are just people who love us and wants to come and hang out with us. And we read their chats on air, as long as they're not offensive and having a good time. So please, please come hang out with us. Oh, John 484 says we should mention the name of the Twitch. Oh yeah, you can get it. You find us on YouTube or on what is it, youtube.com/we are libertarians, on Twitch.tv. We are libertarians. You can find us there as well. And hang out with us. Come hang out live. It's it's what we do.
And just make sure it's we are libertarians, like we are the letter R, not ARE. Just so because that's probably people are probably looking for we ARE libertarians, and that's not going to get you there.
Yeah, which we have finally got control back over that channel because James Nice had it, and Nice lost access. Then we got access back, and then Dear Leader had it for a bit, and then he didn't want to maintain it because I had one and maintaining one, and he didn't want to switch, so he just switched everything to this one. Yeah, so. R as in known arsonist Reinhold.
Is the most awesome person ever, Reinhold. Yep, that's it.
God. All right. Yeah, I need a wanted poster of Reinhold.
You had to give him
wanted for burning his own stuff.
Non-level berries, maybe chopper level.
Yeah.
No job too small. We'll burn them all.
All right. Yeah. All right. I'm going to end the show right here. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. You could have been listening to anything else in the world, but decided to listen to this thing, and that I thank you. Thank you very much.
What's wrong with you?
No. We're all bad here. Okay, we're all mad here. All right. So say goodbye, everybody. Good night. Thank you for hanging out here on this Friday night. All right. Say goodbye.
Have fun, guys.